look for you. You know what I mean?
Oh, I do know. I had a mustache for like a month and a half.
Yeah, I know you did. I'm not minding it.
It was not a look for me.
I don't mind it. It's fine.
Depends on the type of mustache you're trying to go for.
Or the type of mustache you can go or grow, because I can only do so much. Despite my Cuban heritage, there's only so much I can get out of my face. Did you know there's actually ways to help you, like, grow facial hair? Like, they're legitimate and not, like, take this pill?
I did not know that.
Wait.
Well, I knew that Rogaine works and is legit.
Rogaine works and is legit. I've considered trying that to see whether or not I can fill out some of the patches. I do know that, like, brushing your facial hair helps. That's a big one, like with, those bristly ones. Yeah, that helps. You know we're live, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, just making sure.
Stream right now.
Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure that you knew this was all part of the cold open. I tricked you. It has to stay in. It has to.
I have tweeted out a link. See if anybody will use it.
Thank you. Oh, I do need to go post in our good friend Kiki's Discord that we are live. Okay, let's see. How are you doing, Isaac? We have to sync. Fuck. All right.
We've got
damn it.
Got stuff to do before we can do this.
Could do it at the end, where it'd be easier to find because it's at the very end of everything.
Where we would certainly forget.
I mean, that's also what the stream audio is. Fine. Let's do it. Just do it.
All right. On one.
On one. Thank you. Hey, everyone at home, feel free to join along.
3, 2.
Did you do it? Did I do it? It was so close.
Do another one?
Let's do another one because I feel like maybe our pre-production might have gotten to me. If you know what I'm saying.
I do know what you're saying there.
Okay.
3, 2.
Okay. I'm pretty sure that was close. We'll see. How are you doing tonight, Isaac?
A little bit. How am I doing tonight? I'm tired. I had a super long day. President Biden has been inaugurated as our president.
Let's date the day. It's a fine day. It's a fine day.
It is January 20th of 2021.
It's a fine day. It's all right.
A day in which no revolutions happened.
A day in which no one incited a revolution. A day in which no one, God, it's so fine, huh? It's just so mediocre. I'm so into it. Feels good to be back to normal, you know?
It feels good to be back to boring president.
Yeah, it feels good to be back at, well, he's a disappointment, but only because he won't do enough. Yeah, only because he can't do enough. Well, it's a lot of stuff. It's fine. Versus, they're just letting him do anything? What?
Is
it the money?
Biden talks a lot about uniting the nation, and I feel like he has. He's already done it. In that we're all united, in that he's probably just going to be a mediocre
everyone is expecting nothing of him.
Yeah.
Don't trip over that expectation bars, buddy. They'll get you. It's fine. I feel good. I feel different.
You feel different?
You know how I feel different, though? Is that, like, the news was on and they were talking and I was like, none of this is, like, super important. Like, nothing they're saying is, like, super critical to my life right now.
I was watching his inauguration address, and I was like, this is just boilerplate the whole way through.
This is just...
Except for the one thing. He said one thing that wasn't boilerplate, and I was like, he's narrowcasting.
He said one thing that was brilliant.
Yeah, he's a genius.
He's a brilliant man, and I love him. How do I send my love to Biden? How do I let him know that using the Wesleyan quadrilateral and making it political was gonna be so tasty? How did he know? He said, can't do scripture because we're politics. We're just going to make it a nice little triangle. Reason, tradition, and faith.
And everybody who is a theology graduate of Olivet Nazarene University went, hey, I know that.
Hey, I came a little. Look at that. Oh, my God. What?
I don't know about came a little.
Well, but like... I feel like while the joke was extreme, I feel like that's everyone from back home's jam, you know? I know they wouldn't have approved of me saying they came, but like...
Christians don't come, Dan.
I'm sorry, I forgot. Christians don't have sex. It's my bad. Actually...
None of that is staying in this podcast.
I was going to say, speaking of which... leads us very well into our next topic, which is the topic of the stream.
It is.
So you can choose which of those jokes stay in for the podcast, but for the stream people...
It's not the cum one.
Do you want... We can take another pass at it.
You want to take another pass at it?
No, I think we nailed it in one.
I don't either. I really don't. I'll just fix it in post. Fuck me.
Yeah.
That's also not staying in.
No, none of it can stay in. We wanted to talk. We feel like the podcast has been going for a little bit. We've been streaming on the channel for a while in this more intimate setting. Just wanted to maybe take a second and kind of introduce why we're here, why we started the show, why we like the show, why we believe in the show, things like that. Does that make sense, Isaac? Anything you would add to that statement?
Yeah, I think there's a lack of space in the content world for people who have this experience.
And I want to get into that actually a little bit later, because I think it's shame. I think it's shame that does it. I think it's shame that does it.
It's a little bit of apathy, probably.
Yeah. So, we are focusing, I guess, on the particular topic of young people leaving the church, because the reason Isaac and I think, kind of kept hanging out after college that then transitioned back into just friendship, and now we're going full circle and going, well, we can have friendship in both at the same time, was the idea that, hey, we don't really feel like we fit in the church anymore, and we need a way to express that and to still get that level of community. And so we just wanted to talk about how we got here and why the podcast exists and the roots of it, I guess. Does that make sense? Does that also sound true to you, Isaac?
That does sound very true. I have a hard time sitting through most church services without being slightly out of place.
Yeah.
Now, I think I would differ. I wouldn't consider myself like having left the church. But I probably would be hesitant to strictly identify with the community.
Yeah, I feel like me and the church are on a break. I feel like, to use some classic Friends humor, I think the church and I are on...
We were on a break.
Yeah, I think the church and I are on a break. Where I'm not with the church, but I'm also not with the church.
And it's not cheating because you were on a break.
Right. I'm allowed to experiment. I'm on a break. Sure, I meditate more. Okay. It's not bad. It's the same thing as prayer. It's fine. Where I'm on a break.
Yeah, see, I'm in a toxic relationship with the church where I have decided that I'm just going to shout at it until it changes.
Oh, no, you can't do that. Oh, no, 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 no. You can't do that.
It doesn't work. It's a bad idea. Don't do that.
Are you still doing it, Isaac?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Not a good idea. Not a good plan.
Look, it's weird. It's weird talking about this thing that is both universal in like nature, but also so oddly specific to each place because not everywhere looks exactly the same.
Yeah, and I think this is where we probably differ in our relationship with the church, is that I still like a lot of what the church does.
Oh, yeah. No, there's plenty of stuff that the church does that's really good. I think the issue is the fact that the actions of the church, public facing, very good. Private facing, pretty bad. But even, like, that's humanity. That's a perfect reflection of a person. I get that. I think that what puts me off the most is that the people in the church believe that if you are not 100% in lockstep, which is a lot of where my distrust comes from, which I'm sure as we talk about it will come out. If you're not in lockstep, then you are not part of the church. It's like, but we're trying to achieve the same goals. I just don't agree with you on your interpretation of one line of scripture because I've done research on it and you are reading NIV. So, like, I'm sorry, that's just an interpretation thing then, right? And it becomes these dying points because it becomes then tied to other outside sources. I'm not saying that these people are inherently like dogmatic in nature, but then they also then make it about, for example, the homosexual verses in the Bible that everyone points to, and scholars go, well, they're not actually pointing to homosexuality, they're pointing to pedophilia, and these people go, well, actually they're pointing to this and it got translated here this way. It's those sorts of issues, if that makes sense, that drives me away the most. I think we can talk about examples of that more later, but I think
I think we'll get into some of the narrative.
I'm sorry. I went on a rabbit hole, but like,
see, you talked about some of the public-facing stuff being good and the private stuff being not so great.
Yeah,
which is certainly the case in a lot of places.
Sure, but not all places.
Take like, what was that mega church that did a global leadership summit where the guy was sexually abusing a bunch of his employees?
God, yeah. I don't even want to.
It was Willow Creek.
Don't give them airtime. Don't.
I'm not giving them airtime. I don't even remember his name.
His friggin' name.
I can't recall it. Anyways, it doesn't matter. That's certainly a case of that. I also take issue with their public face.
No, and that's fair. Like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, some of it's definitely bad public facing. Like, some churches' stances, and that's the other part. That's the hard part talking about this, is that if you're a passerby and you're listening to this podcast and you don't have specific ties to specific churches, this might all sound like bonkers crazy. And it's like, well, yeah, of course churches shouldn't be like that. And it's like, well, the reality is that sometimes they are. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
that's the hard part.
See, what I mean by like the public face of the church, like the things that go on a Sunday morning, and the lack of like, so I have seen churches do some really amazing things through helping the poor, or like, helping people with housing and setting up these relationships of compassion, and like there's all sorts of like cool stuff that the church has done. Does that get brought? Is that part of the regular weekly life of the church?
No. And I well, but that's the thing, right? Is that I actually wouldn't call that the public facing side of church. That's interesting.
Well, but I would say Sunday morning is like the most public.
I would disagree. That is the most private. Do you want to know why? Because it is seen by people not in the church as a members only event.
That's interesting.
I'm like,
and this is all going to be like, we're going to have to talk about specific churches, because I've been to many churches where Sunday morning is strictly evangelical. Like this is to evangelize people and get them in the pews, and then get them involved in like a small group, which I would call more a private thing.
That's crazy. Most churches I think of, come on in. If you're new, we love you. We swarm you because we need to convert you. But like, it's 9 times out of 10, no new faces. No new faces.
Yeah, that's true for most churches.
You know what I mean? Like, it is a lot of the, well, these are our members. Oh, a new person? Let's get them to join our group. We like them. You know what I mean? Like, and it's that level of, like, market scheming almost that, like, I just can't stand, you know? I don't know. There's so much to talk about. How do we start this conversation?
Yeah, I don't want to spend the whole episode just like nitpicking things about the church, because a lot of the times it's people who are genuinely trying to do the right thing. And you can't, especially like leadership in the church, I feel like is very misunderstood, because you feel like, oh, well, they're the pastor, so they're responsible for everything that's going on here. No.
Absolutely not.
Pastors have they have a lot of influence on what happens in the church, but
it is not on them.
It's not. They're trying to shape the community and bring the community along. It's the community itself that fails to move.
Yeah.
What I think would be more fruitful than like talking about specific things about the church, broadly speaking, is talking specifically about our experiences in the church and how we came to the opinions we have. Because I still think that the church as a community has potential and value, and we should be a part of it. I just think there's gotta be some changes.
I'm down for that. My question to you: do you want to go first or last so that you can tell your dad, like, skip ahead to this part, or like, you know, you don't need to listen to all this part, like, you know, since he is a pastor, like, how are you going to like convince him to not?
I don't think my dad would disagree with much of what I'm going to say.
Okay, fair.
Not that I want to like speak for him in any particular way, because he's his own person.
Sure.
But I'm not worried about it.
That's
he knows
fine.
A lot of my thoughts.
I was gonna say it was more of a joke for announcing.
For those who don't know, my dad is a pastor.
Yeah.
Church.
Well, it was gonna get spoiled, so I was gonna.
Yeah. But my dad and I have a very open relationship where we disagree with each other all the time and still manage to love each other. So.
Nice.
Not a problem between us.
Good. Yeah. So. I don't know. For me, it's weird because so you had that constant in your life of like you knew who the pastor is gonna be every Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Most times.
I was at the church anytime the doors were locked.
Yeah.
Which is different than what most people say.
To be fair, I was too for a while there, so.
It's true. You were
for some of my high school years, yeah.
Gardening in the playground.
Oh, it gave me so much material. So many people telling me how Cuban I looked, and it was real fun and racist. Everyone, real fun and racist.
I mean, as one of those people, I will say you did look super Cuban.
Yikes. No, but like. For me, it was very different. I grew up in a military family, so like already when people talk about like Emily has a friend who is now my friend from kindergarten. The farthest back I know someone is from 6th grade, and I met them in 6th grade. You know what I mean? So, like, for me, life feels very different than I think a lot of people who live in at least areas. Some people move around, but, like, this was, like, every few years. So I've been to a lot of different churches. I've been to Baptist churches. I've been to Nazarene churches. I've been to Free Will. I've been to this, that, the other. I've been to tons of stuff. So I've had a sampling. Sometimes I was a kid. I don't know everything that happened. I wasn't paying attention. Some things I do remember. And I remember being pushed out of one church in particular just from, like, neglect. You know, like, people actively knowing what was going on with my family because my dad was in the military. He was deployed for a year. This is a military church. This is something, you know what I mean? Like, they live near military bases. Pretty common. And yet, it was me and my brother and sister who were 7 and 9 years younger than me. And constantly my mom would be like, you know, yeah, I need some prayer. Things are a little hectic around the house, yada, yada, yada. Not really trying to, like, drop hints, but also going to the community for, like, I'm at my wit's end. I don't know what to do. And their response was, yeah, we'll do that, because that sounds hard. Joe, do you have anything? And that was the end of it. You know, no one really followed up. No one really did. There was no you know what I mean? There was no active community involved in the thing. Does that make sense?
It does. How did that shape your understanding?
I think it showed me that regardless of whether it is a church community or whatever, like, the point of community is to take care of each other. You know what I mean? Now, granted, nowadays most communities are formed around religious gatherings. You don't see many people gathering just for the sake of gathering for other purposes, or, you know, keeping in touch for other purposes. Sometimes you see it in, like, nerd culture, which is really neat. But, like, you know what I mean? There's not a lot of that stickiness. It's usually just a few friends, which is fine. That's community. But the larger the community gets, the more you start to see that level of, like, well, someone else has got to be taking care of them, right? You know what I mean? Or to some level, just people being overlooked for whatever reason. And that's a hard thing to do. Like, I'm not saying that's easy and that, like, all perfect communities have that. But, like, it happens.
It's fairly straightforward pastoral care.
I mean, okay, so let's put it this way. Based on what you said earlier, though, it's not just on the pastor. You know what I'm saying?
Depending on the size of the church, in this case, it could be.
That's fair. No, that's fair.
You know, you get above 100 people, the pastor should be setting up systems to make sure that everyone is cared for.
Interesting. So then, interesting question. Very loosely, not in any way a one-to-one. Should a church be set up like a corporate management system? Not one-to-one, but the idea of, like, one person with a vision trying to shape what you're doing and everyone else, like, creating that vision. Does that make sense? No?
No, not at all.
Interesting. I agree. I just think that's interesting.
In fact, maybe the polar opposite of that, but I will get to that.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's the thing that stuck with me the most, and I think it's part of the reason why I care the most about people, and why whenever I am involved in churches, it's usually in support positions of, like, music or audio or, like, greeting people, or, like, you know, being one of the people that, like, goes and gets coffee with someone when they first join a small group or something like that. Just because, like, that's the caring for the person is, like, a super valuable part of why you're even in community in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly something not to be neglected.
Right.
it might be one of the most important parts of belonging to that community.
Well, and that's my point, right? Like, that's the foundation. If you're doing that part, if you're at least just like taking care of each other, I feel like the rest of it comes easier because you're actively trying to take care of people. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So from going to a church where you saw your family being neglected in a time of need to then take a very keen interest in matters of religion, how did you make that leap?
I mean, do you want the story or do you want just like
tell me your story.
You want the story? You want the story.
Give me your testimony, Dan.
Isaac, I will beat your ass. I will come through this screen and I will beat your ass.
Testimony?
That is my testimony.
I'm waiting.
Okay, so my testimony. People are gonna hear this and they're gonna be like, they're actively drinking and smoking while talking about this. What the fuck? You can cut that from you can cut that from the podcast portion but for the streaming portion, for my archives,
forever.
For my archives.
Listen, Dan, if people really wanted dirt on me, all they have to do is watch the stream.
Oh yeah, for sure.
People who listen to the podcast think, man, Dan has a real potty mouth, and then they come watch the stream and they're like, holy fucking shit!
Really?
This boy.
Oh, that's funny. So I, for the longest time, thought I was going to be a movie director. I was like, so certain. I was like, I'm going to be a movie director. I'm going to be a movie director. And then at the age of like 14, 13, 14 is when all that stuff was going down with the church that I actually mentioned earlier. Ended up scooting over to Isaac's church here, which is how we met. Crazy that one community's neglect would turn into like a whole new thing.
Because God has a purpose for everything.
Shut your mouth. I hate you. I hate you so much. So we moved from one church to another church, and if you look for it, you can find it in anything.
Turns out.
It turns out
confirmation bias will do that.
It turns out confirmation bias will do that.
Oh man, I really prayed for this thing to happen and it didn't happen. Guess it was God's will that I didn't have this thing.
I really prayed for a promotion at work when I was told I was up for a promotion at work, and it turns out I got it. Thanks be to God for this promotion.
Yep, everything is God's will.
Oh, okay. Well, then I have no free will.
Yeah, of course. You thought you had free will. You're a lowly human.
Anyway, scooted from one church to another church. That church was Isaac's. Got to talking to some folks, and they had a program at Olivet Nazarene University for filmmaking. And I was like, that's perfect. I'm gonna be a filmmaker. I'll go to that school and go for cheap, and then they have a program where you fly out to California. Perfect. I can stay close to home, get the good Christian education, and then head out to California to learn how to be a filmmaker from filmmakers. Very cool. And then maybe like a week after I made that decision, I started to get the feeling maybe I shouldn't be a filmmaker. And then about 2 weeks after, and like I don't know what happened, like it just popped into my head one day. It's just like, maybe I shouldn't be a filmmaker. It's like, oh, that's weird. That doesn't sound right. And then 2 weeks later, your dad was the pastor at my church, and your dad specifically, viewer, was the pastor at my church, and he walked up there and he was like, he has this thing. I don't know if he does it. I don't know if he listens to the podcast. Craig, you have this thing. You walk up to the podium, or you did anyway, and you like open your notes. You look down at them, and then you like look up smiling. You have this thing you do every single time, Craig. And Craig, you didn't do it this one time, Craig. You looked up and you looked troubled. and you closed your book, and I said, uh-oh. And you said, sir, the Lord has laid something on my heart recently. And you, sir, said that thing was prayer and that we need to be doing more of it. So we were going to do it that morning, and you were going to lead us in like guided prayer. Homie was doing meditation. This guy over here was doing meditation before I knew about meditation. We closed our eyes. We did like some like central exercises, focus on breathing. Homie boy was letting the devil inside me that whole time. Who would have known? I love when people
Christians. Dude.
I love when people hate meditation in the church. Real sidebar. I hate when they do it because all prayer is meditation.
I'll be honest, I've never met a Christian who is like, meditation lets the devil in your heart.
Oh, you've never heard that?
No, I've heard that.
Okay.
I've never personally known someone like that.
I have. I lived in the South for a little bit, dude. I met that person.
Woo.
Straight up, I've met that person who was like, gotta be careful. Meditation's the like key to your heart. Don't let the devil in. If you're not thinking about Jesus actively, then the devil can get you. And it's like, okay, let's calm down. Let's calm down a little bit. Anyway, so we're doing these meditative prayer things, which were super great, super helpful. And I like achieved it for like a couple seconds. And then I heard, and this is the part where it's okay to check out of reality because it doesn't feel real just talking about it. Like, I understand it sounds crazy, but I heard like pass, like an urging. It wasn't even like a word. Like, that's the crazy part. Like, it was like this like urging of like, do it. And I was like, what? And I thought I heard someone like say something, so I looked up and looked around, and everyone's got their eyes closed and doing that. Get back into it. I just start to get the hang of it, and again, I hear like this like little like go, like this urging word. You know what I mean? Like this feeling of urgency and like this pressure of urgency. And I remember actively praying this, which is just thinking about it, to be fair. I remember thinking, okay, you work in 3s, 7s, and 40s. So we're going to go with 3. I said that in my head to, in theory, a deity, as if that was okay. Because I was so scared for just a second. I actively said, all right, we're only going to do this one more time.
Do you want to run that back? All-powerful deity?
All-powerful deity, do you want to maybe check yourself? I said, all right, 3, 7s, 40s, one more time. And sure, and like, again, confirmation bias, I don't know, but I felt like I heard something again. And like, I like subtly said something to my best friend at the time, and I was like, hey, did you hear that guy talking during the like prayer? He's like, no. I was like, what? You didn't like hear like someone whispering behind us? Because we were sitting next to each other. So it was easy to make it like, do you not remember us all singing together?
For this, what if it was just Stu Leach being like,
wow, doxing people, nice. Well, that's the thing. So I'm like, we went to church with older folks who would absolutely whisper and mutter during prayers, but Craig doing meditative prayer was like, that's not what we're doing here. We are being silent. I remember the way he pitched it is that we were talking more than we were listening, which is a brilliant way to trick people into meditating. Good job, Craig. I'm going to use that in the future. So, he was like, we're going to listen. We're not going to talk. So that's why I was like, can you believe this guy behind us talking? And Jacob was like, no one was talking, dude. I was like, fuck. Oh, okay, no. Fair, oh, no.
That is totally a prank that Stu would play.
That is a prank, and I hate it. I
He would
hate
totally,
it.
like, I'm gonna screw over this kid's entire life.
I gotta tell you, old folks in the church, I love them, but also they're entitled. They're entitled. They think they can just mess with children whenever they want, and it's fine. It's not okay. They're like, I'm gonna inject vinegar into this Twinkie. Here, have a Twinkie, kids. Something Stu actually did to children at church. I don't know whether he was trying to teach them, like, not to take Twinkies from strangers, or whether or not he just liked punishing children. I don't know what it was about him, but I loved it. The energy he brought to the table was very good.
One time we were in class with Stu. He was a Sunday school teacher at the church.
Somehow.
And he brought snacks for all of us. And they were Oreos and milk.
I did not get to experience this.
No, he was not in the class, but we were all enjoying our Oreos and milk, but mine were funny. So I kept saying to my fellow classmates, like, guys, he salted the milk, or he salted the Oreos. These are salty. Why are these salty? Turns out, Stu just did it to mine. It was me alone. I was the only one with salty milk.
Stu fucking gaslit everyone in that classroom all the time. All the time.
Which, I mean, to be fair, good prank, but why me, Stu? I think about this to this day.
Oh my god. I don't know why that man exists the way he does, but man, good on him, you know? Just doing his own thing.
He brings joy in ways at the expense of others sometimes, but
I was gonna say, I know my original words about Stu sounded harsh, but it's because if you, like, compartmentalize what he's doing with who he is as a person, he sounds like a fucking maniac. But he's the sweetest human being who's just trying to have fun with you. Like,
he's genuinely a great person.
He's genuinely
just wants
awesome.
to laugh sometimes. So he gives children salty milk.
And spikes their Twinkies with vinegar. That's the one I never got over.
He made Kenny puke one time.
Oh god. Like, I don't... What? Anyway, so that's kind of how I got my quote unquote calling. Wow, we went on a real tangent there about Stu. I love it though, because but I think that goes to show that, like, there's joy in there. You know what I mean? Like, not all my memories of the church are bad, and not all whatever. But even at this, like, new church, there were times where it felt kind of like, well, I don't know if I buy everything here. I buy most of it. Don't get me wrong. I agree with like 90% of what's going on here. I really do. And I buy that 90% like wholeheartedly. There's 10% I don't buy so wholeheartedly, but like I'm okay with that. And I was basically told a couple times like, yeah, don't bring that up to people. Yeah, like that 10%, like I get it. I get why you would feel that way. Those are all valid ways of feelings, but like don't tell people you feel it. And again, that is my experience. Not everyone goes through that. Not everyone has those 10% of reservations. Some people have 100% all in. Some people have 100% reservations. For me, it was like a 90-10 thing.
So you go to Olivet.
Yeah.
ONU.
Yeah.
And alma mater.
Our alma mater. Got the thing right over there. We were going through trash and keeps in my office, and I really wasn't sure what to do with it. We decided to go with keeps. It's right over there, but like, you know.
Mine is in a drawer somewhere at home.
My parents bought me this beautiful frame for my diploma. I found that frame still in its wrapper. I just put it back in the closet.
Yikes.
I feel so bad.
So you go to our alma mater, Olivet.
I go to our alma mater, and
Which only Olivet kids will get that joke.
Only Olivet kids will get that joke. Thank you for catching it, though. It's one of
what happens? What happens to you?
So much, a lot. For one thing, I almost immediately realized that I do not fit in with my classmates. I, from day one at Olivet, felt like an outsider, which is never a good start. That's never fun. Showing up and being like, oh no, I question more things than y'all do. Oh no. And I brought that up to someone one time, like year one, and they're like, well, I feel like we question things equally. I said, no, you have questions about the teaching material. You ask questions. I have questions. And that's fine to be in both places, also, to be super clear. To both have questions and to ask them, because sometimes you can't ask them, sometimes you have to ask them, is what it is. But I quickly pivoted to philosophy and religion because I started to realize that I was actually finding more spiritual fulfillment talking about axioms of the universe with Heraclitus than I did in any of my like script classes or any of my pastoral classes that I was taking year one. Immediately, though, something about the way Heraclitus is trying to figure out the way the universe works and like how he's observing God and trying to you know what I mean? Like if you want to buy into the subscription, which at the time I super did, I still do a little bit. I'm on like the cheapest model. You know, I got the cheapest subscription. I don't have all the premium content, but I subscribe. Back
You're
when
at the amateur level.
Yeah. When I had the like $15 donations on Twitch, like that was like Heraclitus is interacting with God in his own way. That's so neat. And yet I'd sit through my pastoral classes and they're like, this is how you bring up Jesus to a neighbor. And it was like, I hate this. This is atrocious. Why is this what we're learning in year one? And then, you know, you go to your Christian Theo classes and someone's like, got to be the extremist. Well, I just don't believe in God. I'm just here to... Your introduction to Christianity that everyone has to take at Olivet 101. Well, I don't really believe in God. I'm just here because the nursing program's good. That's good. I'm glad for you. You still have an opinion. I want to hear your opinion. And then they'd give their opinion and someone else in the classroom would be like, how could you even say that? And I was like, oh, okay. So you... I don't think you're supposed to be talking like that. You know, the way that the actual interaction on campus was it was this weird sense of like either you're in or you're out and you know which you are. And so does everyone else somehow. Even though they don't. And there's no way anyone could know what anyone was thinking. You know what I mean? Like, but it was told to you, like, this is how people are here. It was like drilled into them somehow. And so just slowly over time, I started to drift further and further away. And while I was getting the fulfillment of seeing how these philosophers were interacting with God at this point, capital G, but not specifically, God was so interesting and fulfilling for me, but no one could understand me. It was so ostracizing to like be experiencing and feeling spiritual about philosophy. And everyone going, yeah, but the Bible. I'm like, yeah, no, the Bible's great. But then when Aquinas like references the Bible in his speeches about how like his dialogues, and people are just like, yeah, dude, but like you're focusing on the wrong part. Aquinas took from the Bible. I'm like, no, I know. And he expanded on it. And what he did from that is it like that kind of joy for me was so often viewed as not real. And like not valid truth because it wasn't coming from whitelisted sources, to use Tech Talk, you know. I was slowly getting blacklisted because the people I chose to pull from as my inspirations, until finally my senior year a girl asked me, are you even a Christian? We went out and had coffee afterwards. We're friends now. It's fine. But, like, to be questioned in the identity that you're choosing to have is really, like, well, what the hell are you even doing here? And so I graduated from college, and I've just kind of taken a break. I was hurt by a small group in Chicago. I'm not gonna do it to them. I'm not gonna put them in the ground. I'm not gonna name them. But essentially, I was told that because I was working multiple jobs and needed to live with my girlfriend because I was working 2 minimum wage jobs in Chicago and like couldn't afford to have a place of my own. I basically wasn't a good fit for the group because I wasn't like adhering to the same values as everyone else should be. And like that sucks in a lot of ways. And I have not actively tried since. I want to, especially now that I've moved and maneuverability is a little bit easier. I want to. But 1, COVID, and 2, I don't even know where to start because because at this point it feels so helpless. It feels so pervasive because I thought maybe it's just this one church. I've been to a lot of churches. They all look a little bit differently. Maybe it's just this one church. And then you get to at an institution level and you see it rampant. And it's like, I don't want any part of that. I just don't. I know that kind of sucks. But, like, I don't want any part of that. And yet I still have this crazy urging in my feeling to try and change the world and make it a better place somehow. Somehow. And so I'm angry all the time. And that's how that story ends. Thanks, God, for this anger you gave me. Very cool, bro.
All right, so I have a question for you.
I have an answer. Now that my story's done, thank God. I can't wait for your turn so I can shut up.
And this question is not natural to someone of my disposition.
Good.
How did that feel?
Oh, wow. Which part? It felt bad. No, it feels bad. It feels bad to lose something. And say what you will, I did lose something. It may not seem like it, but like losing I lost a few things. So I've lost a lot of friends. Is what it is. When you go to them and you want them to see what you're singing and you want them to understand how you're feeling, but they can't because they're in the middle of the thing, it's frustrating. That's just part of the territory. You know, like that's just part of it. If you work to advance yourself in some way or try to like better yourself, eventually if other people aren't doing the same work or aren't working on the same things that you're working on, you're going to move away. You're going to move apart. That's natural. I don't blame them. I don't blame me. It just happened. I lost a lot of friends. I also lost a sense of identity, which I already didn't have because of a lot of factors, which maybe I can go into another time, but I lost identity, one of my identities. Great. Yippee. And then thirdly, and a weird one to lose, I lost my joy for music. Is that weird?
No, it makes sense.
I pick up a guitar like once every 3 months, play a few songs, and then just put it down. I loved playing guitar, but I loved playing with people, and church gave me the opportunity to make something on a weekly basis with people I liked. So like, you know, I really missed having that. I really think that's part of the reason why I started streaming and doing the podcast and doing all that jazz. Weird, right?
Still consider yourself a Christian?
Yeah, but I always preface it with the kind who says fucks, drinks, and is okay with other things. Because they exist. It's just not common because of the aforementioned thing that I am firmly against, which is the gatekeeping that happens. This idea of, well, you don't believe in the exact same thing as me, so you can't come here. You can't be in, or at least you can't, don't talk to me. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, that's no way to live in community, so I'll just leave. That's how I view it anyway. But I'm also very much a utilitarian. Whatever's best for the group, I think is best. So I left, you know? And I haven't bothered to look for another group that works for me, you know? Or that I can work for, I guess, is a better way of saying.
Why bother with it?
Because community is important. We're social creatures. We like to be in community.
Let me rephrase.
Okay.
Why bother with God?
Ooh, I'm agnostic, so personally, I think there's something out there. It would help me sleep better at night to know that something's out there. And if something's not out there, then it doesn't matter that I thought there was something out there. Because you know what? That's future Dan's problem. And by future Dan, I mean Dan that doesn't have a body. And if Dan doesn't have a body, it probably doesn't matter that much. Because my belief, personally, I ascribe to the all heretical Rob Bell in this one. All things will be redeemed, baby. It says it. It says it right there. All things shall be redeemed. And even the NIV, it all says it. It says all. All things. All people. All actions. All things. Redeemed. So the idea being, as long as you are trying to actively create good in the world and negate harm to love your neighbor as yourself, I think you're probably pretty good. I just as like a starter, like that is my elevator pitch. Obviously, it gets far more detailed, but it's been 52 minutes and I've done a lot of talking. And that feels terrible, and it feels like I'm in therapy and no one's chatting, and that feels even worse. It feels like I'm just screaming into the void right now, and that's a bad feeling, dog.
Yeah.
So I don't want to get too into it. That's the elevator pitch for me, right? Is that, like, in theory, if that verse is correct, it's just about finding truth. God can be found in all things then. Because God can redeem all things, because he's all power, or they are all powerful. They are, all this, that, the other. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we're willing to buy into that, why not buy into the idea that when Jesus says, none can come through me except those who, whatever, right? Those who come through me. None can come to the Father except those who come through me. That's what he says. Well, if he also did that for the world, and it's a gift to all mankind, which are all things that get thrown around often as ideas and statements in the church, then you can't do the mental gymnastics to say, but only if you say this special prayer. I don't understand the gymnastics there. Where does it say? If someone can point it to me, that's fine. I don't mind. But where does it say the only way you get Christian benefits is if you say, Jesus, I believe in you? Because, like, Heraclitus is trying. You know what I'm saying? Like, people try. any other religion, they're trying. What makes Christianity so special that just because they say the right exact words, but maybe are trying for the exact same thing as everyone else? Why not? This is part of that 10% I had a problem with earlier. Hey, guys, Dan from earlier chiming in. Remember when I said it was like 90-10? This is that 10. This is that 10 that I'm like willing to die upon. Is like so much of the dogmatic things that we have issues with in the church as far as being sinful are in reality just ways to shame people into continuing to do the things they want them to do. Whether it is being sex positive, being okay with drinking, smoking, homosexuality, whatever it is, polyamorous, whatever it is, I think it comes down to the idea of people being, and again, maybe not church as the institution everywhere all the time, but the reason I have such a hard time going back is that for me and my experience, is that I will not be welcomed there unless I agree with the exact same things as them. And that's a daunting challenge to find. That's the part that makes me not want to go back. Not the God part. Specifically, the people that will be there to make up the community. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Was that too much of a tirade? Did I come off as too much of a lunatic?
No, I don't think so at all.
We'll see. What about you? I've talked a lot. I've talked arguably too much. Isaac?
Too much.
Too much.
I love free content.
Oh, I know you do. I know you love that free content. And you know I'm willing to give it to you. But Uncle Danny always comes with a price. You can't get ranting Danny without paying a little bit. So you can make it brief. Look, jump in the backpack. We're 56 minutes in. Jump in the backpack. Just give us the elevator pitch.
I'm fine with us putting out 2-hour episodes.
No. Just give us the elevator pitch. It's fine.
No. I don't want to. Don't sideline my testimony for yours.
No, jump in the backpack, buddy. You're in the driver's seat. You drive as much as you want. All I'm saying is.
You want me to drive?
All I'm saying is if you need to pull over and you need me to carry us the rest of the way, you just let me know, bud.
I think you know.
I hope you know I'm kidding.
Complicated.
Yeah, which is why I'm like, go ahead, just make it real brief. Go ahead and just.
Yeah, I'll just cover it in like 30 minutes.
Dude, give me elevator pitch, quick, 40-minute pitch, go.
40 minutes. Yeah, okay, I can do that.
No, don't actually. People are frantically looking at how long this video / recording is. Oh God, is it really another 40 minutes? They're just ranting.
So how I got here, because that's what we're talking about, right? How we got here.
However you want to look, you poked and prod me, so you just start. I'll get you there.
Yeah, poke and prod me back. Please.
Just fucking with you.
See, I'm weird, right? Because
Go on.
I don't know where to start.
It's hard, huh? Yeah. You're fine. How about we start here? Social security number, weight at birth, and mother's maiden name. Just start there, and we will.
Okay, we'll start with my mother's maiden name.
Just kidding. No, I mean.
No, we'll really start there.
Oh wow!
So my family. Oh boy.
I could go back further too if you want. I can go back.
No. Don't do that, please, for the love of God.
So sorry.
I grew up as a pastor's kid in a fairly significant family in the church. Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't tell you what that family is, but it was significant.
For people who don't understand the level of significance for people who are unaware. I went to Isaac's older brother's art show my freshman year of college. And one of the big professors on campus shows up. And it's their uncle.
Not just a big professor.
Also maybe the head of the School of
dean,
Theology now.
The dean of the School of Theology.
Yeah. Look, I wasn't going to name drop. I was just going to say a prominent professor. But he shows up, just starts chatting with me. I've never had a class with this man before, but I'm one of Isaac and Jesse's friends. And immediately Isaac's grandmother takes a liking to me. So then in the future, I'm just out to brunch and they just show up and they're like, hey, can we sit with you? And so I have his whole family sitting with me, and kids from Olivet text me are you sitting with so-and-so? I'm like, oh, hey guys. Yeah, of course. It's so weird how popular and how well known part of your family is in our specific weird circle of influence.
Yeah, it's
bizarre.
Weird. So the point I'm trying to make though is that from birth, I was a little steeped in it.
A Christian boy soup.
Yeah.
Christian boy tea. Just steeped. Yeah.
Really strong tea. But I would say the journey for me really begins in 6th grade. Funny how that age.
Yeah, that's when Katrina hit me. That's when Katrina happened for me. So, 6th grade.
Yeah. I was at a youth summer camp. And just had this feeling, You
had a feeling?
Yeah, had a feeling. This is important. I can't ignore...
The feeling was important. It felt important?
No.
Okay.
God felt important.
Oh. Got it.
Yeah, I had one of those experiences.
Yeah. Oh, you also had one of those?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I've had several of those actually.
Interesting. How the two of us would end up being friends and making content for years and years to come.
Yeah, I would
God
say
has a plan with everything, Isaac.
Oh God. I would say I'm probably, ironically, the more depraved of the two of us.
I don't know about that, man.
Yeah, it's probably pretty equal.
We're neck and neck. We're always vying for the one who's a little bit worse.
Who's the bigger heretic?
Who believes the worst thing this week?
Yeah.
My favorite thing is we go back on them immediately. We're like, I don't know if I buy that anymore. We're like, do you remember when you were making your own shirts from absolutely nothing?
No.
What? Weren't you making your own shirts for a time? Oh no, you were talking about doing it and you're like, but I'm not gonna do that. You talked about it. You're like, no, I'm not gonna do it.
We have ideas around here.
You do have ideas. I will say
the rate of oscillation for me has significantly slowed.
Good. I'm glad.
I haven't changed my mind about what I believe in a long time.
Yeah, it's starting to solidify. Oh boy. I'm landing in a place I didn't think I would.
It's a scary place to be given our current context. So when I was a kid, I was the kid who, when I was at lunch in middle school, I didn't have any friends in middle school.
Oh, you sat alone too?
I sat alone reading my Bible.
Oh no, that's so much worse. I was just reading nerdy Star Wars books for kids. You were reading the Bible?
Yeah, I read the Bible every day. Every day in middle school, I read the Bible.
Showing those heathens who's boss.
No, it wasn't that.
No, I joke. I joke that people do that for that reason. You though, you were being genuine, right? Did you leave or did it happen again? Did you get got?
Happened.
You got got?
Yeah,
it seemed like a rage quit, and I like straight up was like, "Oh no, I didn't mean to offend him. I just misspoke."
Oh no, you're good. You didn't misspeak at all.
Oh, okay, good.
I wasn't getting the heathens. Nobody talked to me. But I that's kind of all I cared about at the time. Right? Because I had this experience that really impressed on me, like, this is important. Everything needs to come back to. This is the center of everything. And so you have to get this right.
Interesting.
So I read my Bible every day. And that transitioned for me into not just reading the Bible, but reading people who wrote about the Bible.
Those are the good books.
So me, this nerdy kid, transitioning to high school, starting to read Lewis and different philosophers.
Any NT in there?
No,
not this time.
No, I was honestly like a little before his time. I know he was like putting stuff out, but he wasn't like a big deal
yeah,
yet.
I guess that's fair. It wasn't until I was in like my sophomore year of college that he started to like. Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Be a big deal. We're talking about NT Wright.
NT Wright.
Yeah, he's a big deal.
He's now a big deal. Then, not so much.
Yeah, I don't particularly care for NT
He's
Wright.
fine. He's fine.
And by the time he was big, I wouldn't have cared for him anyway. So I was, I would go to school and study that, and I did well in school, or I didn't take school seriously enough to do well, but I easily got by. I'm one of those people that like that stuff comes easily, and so I would like joke around with it. Like, I just wouldn't go to school sometimes and still make it by because I was bored. I'll
be honest. I'm gonna check the audio and make sure you sound good on the stream, so you can cut all this. Feel free to. So I'm just gonna mute myself, and I'm just talking to you now as the editor to let you know that I'm going to do that. But now I'm letting the stream know as well. I was just gonna let it be continuous. The stream couldn't hear me on purpose, so.
I see. So, yeah, I was a person who didn't take school very seriously because it was boring. But I did take theology very seriously. I would read it all the time, and I would think kind of through that lens all the time. And so at church, I was a little bit of a loudmouth. And I think Dan will attest to that. I was a bit of a loudmouth because I tended to know more about theology than the people who were teaching the classes. And I would think critically about what we were being taught. So I've never been a good Christian. I've always had my own ideas about what's right and wrong. So at church then, I really cared about my fellow youth group members, but I found the other adults, minus our youth pastor.
Our youth pastor, who's great, by the way.
Yeah,
good guy.
Youth pastor is a wonderful person.
Officiating my wedding. Love that guy still.
Yeah, he'll be at my wedding as well, giving the message.
Shout out. He doesn't watch this.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
Too bad.
Watch this. We're small beans compared to him.
So such small beans.
That'll be fun to edit out.
It was fun for me to hear.
I've got a dry throat. It says that dentistry work today, like, you dried my mouth out.
Dude, you know what helps with that? Whiskey. Just really wets your whistle.
I had plenty of whiskey.
Keep talking about your story.
I'm well lubricated.
Cut that.
Of course,
I'm just gonna call that right now. Cut that. Hey, Isaac, in the future, cut it.
My life is hell.
Isaac, cut
the way we record this.
Hey, future Isaac, can you cut this?
Yeah, I'm gonna cut it.
Thank you, future Isaac.
So there was a specific instance where I read this book that our youth pastor had recommended. Matt, we'll call him Matt because that's his name. Matt recommended this book to me called
Oh,
what is the name of this book?
Oh, which one? Was it Rob Bell?
No.
Was it better than Rob Bell?
I think so.
Rob Bell is like McDonald's hamburger. It's really fucking good, but also you can't have it all the time. It's a nice little thing, and it's good. It's right. Like, he's saying good stuff, but you can't just consume McDonald's all the time. That's no good either.
So our youth pastor recommended this book to me called The Irresistible Revolution by Shane Claiborne. And in this book, Shane Claiborne talks about the politics of Christianity and the different ways in which Christians should be involved in politics.
Ooh, dangerous.
Very dangerous, as I would find out. One of the things that Shane Claiborne talks about in that book is the nature of the war on terror.
Ooh, dangerous.
Very dangerous, because this was a military church.
Dangerous.
But me, being a teenager, thought, I'll just talk about this on the internet.
Dangerous.
Which is what I'm currently doing right now.
I didn't know. I didn't realize how dangerous your story actually was. Wow.
Very dangerous.
Yeah.
So I wrote this post as a note on Facebook, thinking nobody reads notes on Facebook.
Do you still have it?
Let me find it.
You're gonna have it word for word for this podcast, please?
Yeah, I still have it.
Fuck yeah.
Allow me
content.
to go to my profile real quick. Man, Facebook sucks.
Yeah, it does. Well, to be fair, anything that's legacy sucks, especially. Fucking, I got some notes on there. Hey, if you're friends with me on Facebook, go read some poetry from when I was 13 and 14. It's bad. Hey, spoiler alert. It's very bad. It's all edgy and doesn't make any sense. It's not good. Highly recommend. Great read. Chuck Tingleworthy, let me tell you.
How do you get to notes anymore?
Dude, I don't even know. That's why I'm okay talking about my poetry on there. If you can find how to get to my notes, good on you. You deserve that win. You deserve that prize.
How to find notes.
Dude, they don't want you to anymore. It's gone. Goodbye to notes.
It's under about now.
Bury it.
Story archive videos, check-in, sport.
Hey, future Isaac, can you just cut all this, please? Thank you.
Can you not remind me of how much editing this podcast takes?
I try to keep it to a tight, hour and a half, and he's like, I don't mind putting up 2-hour episodes. Don't make me work. Don't do it. It's all getting cut. It's fine. This is content for the stream. The podcast will never know how actually intoxicated I get while recording these. I'll just sound like a lunatic. Oh no, I'm achieving full Michael Jones. Oh no, I've transcended into Michael Jones.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. He's an icon. I'm very jealous of that man's ability to just talk endlessly and it always be quality, funny things he says. I don't know how he does it. I think it helps that he's not talking to a brick wall. Damn it, now I wish this all could stay in, because that was a quality burn. Yeah, look at that. Not even responding anymore. Did he mute me?
No.
Oh, can you imagine if he muted me, guys? Oh, that'd be so good. Dude, the notes don't exist anymore. They're gone.
They might be gone. Which would be a blessing to everybody.
Especially me.
Me too. I also had a book of poetry on there.
That's what the notes were for, right? Why didn't they just name it the Poetry Corner? This is Isaac's Poetry Corner. Sometimes it's just him yelling into the void. Sometimes it's poetry. That's what mine was. I had a post on there that was like, this is craziness, yada, yada, yada. I can't believe this is all happening. No idea what was going on in my life at that time. I remember reading it again when I was like 21 and going, what's wrong with this kid? What? God, I suck to know. That blows. Nothing like degrading yourself over past degrading humor.
I wonder if you could find it in like archived web pages.
You're not really going to go through the trouble of doing that, are you? You can't. You can't do that right now live. That's got to be our post-stream thing. Or our post-recording thing. That's got to be our post-recording thing. We're spending too much time on this.
I'm committed now.
Let me do it while you talk. Let me do it while you talk. Please, for the love of God, make content.
No, it's too late.
I'm going to go on rants if that's the case. Okay, let's talk about the notes section in Facebook. I also did one of those whole, man, I was a sucker. I was one of those Facebook suckers. You give me a post this, tag your friends in it, tell them who they are in it. Loved those ones. You do a copy this, put in your answers in your notes or on your post. Used to love those. When did I become so cynical, Isaac? When did it happen? I miss enjoying Facebook, but God, it's so bad right now. I miss enjoying it. I want to enjoy it. I just don't anymore. They take away all the fun stuff. Notes, where I can secretly throw out into the void whatever I want. It's basically a post that no one sees. It's just a post no one sees. Let me have notes back.
I want notes back.
I want notes back.
An important note for my story. I'm on the Wayback Machine right now.
How the fuck are you going to do this? I'm so curious.
I'm going to go to my Facebook profile.
Can you do that through the Wayback Machine? Like you can... Know. I hate this. I almost want you to share but your screen so that we can watch it, but also I kind of hate this.
I also hate this. If it makes you feel any better, I feel really bad about this, but it's important.
Jadel said there's no way it's on Wayback. Jesse wants you to give up. Jesse wants you to give up on this endeavor. It's not working. I'm pretty sure someone has to manually archive stuff on Wayback. Yeah. We are not doing that.
Those notes are gone permanently.
Too bad. I had one in there about how the bass boomed or something like that. It was real good, dude. Good poetry, let me tell you.
Sounds really bad. Sounds really bad. Well, okay, so back to this.
Yes.
So Matt gave me Irresistible Revolution. In Irresistible Revolution, he talks about the War on Terror and talks about how the history of terror in the Middle East is really kind of a product of our presence there, and how our presence in the Middle East has radicalized these terrorists because they feel like an injustice has been done to them.
Weird.
Yeah, I mean,
never heard that narrative before, though. Of people becoming radicalized because they feel something unjust has been done to them, whether it actually has been or hasn't been.
What Shane makes the case for is that perhaps as Christians, we shouldn't be cooperating with the military because they're doing things that violate our beliefs and our values. And at one point, he says, maybe if we want terrorism to stop, we should stop being terrorists. Well, I just happened to quote him in this note.
Oh, no. That particular part of it?
That particular part of it. Well, you can imagine that people in the church were angry.
Yeah, I can't imagine. We're not talking about how it's just...
This is irrelevant to what we're talking about.
Is kind of irrelevant to what we're talking about, to be fair, Jesse.
We can talk about how the U.S. military is...
That can be a post-stream topic, or a post-recording.
It's pretty horrible, but later.
Yeah.
Right now, what we're talking about is the church and its response to my little note on Facebook, in which I quoted Shane Claiborne.
Now, even if you were to disagree with this position, let's say, there are ways you could disagree in a way that are constructive. Especially,
not in this context.
You don't think so, especially not in the context of you are a, to be fair, at the time, child, at trying to dialogue with some hard questions that these people feel they have the answers to. You could understand how their potential... I'm just trying to...
That wasn't the situation, though.
No, what was the situation? Tell me.
I was asking a question that they didn't want to ask.
Ooh.
Which is, can you be a Christian and participate in an institution that terrorizes innocent people?
Now, that's an interesting question that you could apply to many different things, huh?
I have asked the question in many ways. Can you be a Christian and wear clothes made by slaves?
No.
Can you be a Christian and be part of a military that routinely murders innocent people?
Ooh, do the police one. Do the police one.
Can you be a Christian?
I love the laughter. I love the laughter before you did it. As if you needed, to compose yourself. But no, I mean, that's the thing, though, right? That's the question. The known as a Christian in the U.S., at least. And I think that's...
I would probably agree with that.
I was going to say, I think that would be where Isaac's trying to lead us, Jesse. Whether you agree with him or not, that is the conclusion he is drawing here.
Now, there's some caveats to that. But, I was also interested in people like Bonhoeffer, who, did the right thing and died for their causes out of a basis of faith. And I was reading Bonhoeffer at the time, and the note itself was actually about Bonhoeffer. I just happened to bring this one part up.
Right, Shane Claiborne's thing related to what you were talking about in Bonhoeffer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that pissed off a lot of people.
Oh, no.
Because I think it is a genuine question.
It's a good question.
Can you be part of the military? And even if you aren't personally pulling the trigger on innocent civilians, you're still benefiting.
You're benefiting, supporting, representing an institution that is involved in those actions.
And you're doing things that Jesus specifically commands us not to do. Don't take vows.
Ooh, that's fun to wrestle with.
Yeah, problematic for those in the military.
Look, man, the mental gymnastics I can pull to justify something, pretty top tier. I was trained by the best. You go ahead, you try me.
Well, so I was asking these questions, being like, this doesn't line up with what I read in the Bible and what I read by all these Christians that I admire as good examples of what it means to be a Christian. And not I mean, I was a teenager and I don't have access to the note, so who knows what I was implying about myself. But I don't recall implying that I was doing any better. It was just kind of asking the question.
Save that question. Ooh, save that question. That's a good question.
Short answer, no. Jesus is talking specifically about pledging allegiance to a government.
The question was, would marriage count as vows not to take according to Jesus? Just for audio listeners.
The answer is no. He's
short term.
Specifically about allegiance to a government, which he forbids.
Context is key. Continue.
It's not even context. He explicitly says that. But I posted this thinking nobody's gonna see this. It's just like a journal, basically, like a journal entry. I'm thinking about this. Well, people saw it, and I was
commanded
to remove this post.
Now, I have a question. Was this an order from your parents given by someone in the church?
Certainly.
I wanted to make sure that was super clear to everyone, because I know this story pretty well. I want to make it clear. This is not someone in the church going, take it down, and Isaac going, okay. This is Isaac's parents, the pastor, being told by a member of the church that he has to take down a post on his private Facebook posing this question.
Yes. Which, to be fair, and it was both my parents. It wasn't just my father.
You know what I'm saying, like... That is how you know these people.
That is exactly how it happened. To be fair, the case that they made to me is true. Facebook is not the place to be talking about these things.
Interesting.
Which I totally agree with. Facebook is not the place. And so I made...
Twitch is, though, let me tell you. Monetize the shit out of those conversations.
Yeah.
This stream sponsored by a Bible app. Go ahead. No, I'm just kidding. It's not sponsored by anyone.
When you get paid for it is the time to talk about it.
When the trauma can monopolize capital the best, that's when you need to talk about it.
We don't get paid to do this.
No, we don't.
So I made the post private. I didn't delete it.
Smart.
Because I wanted it, and now Facebook deleted it for me.
That person had so much sway with someone at Facebook. They got rid of notes sections just to spite you.
Really, just to spite me and my poetry. What was the name of my poetry book? The Call. Oh. That was the name of my poetry book.
Oh, The Call.
It hurts.
Oh, it's so fucking good, dude. Oh,
it hurts.
That's gonna sustain me for a good year or so. Thank you.
This is not going to the podcast.
I don't need to eat. I don't need to eat anymore. I'm so sustained.
Oh, this can't be known. I can't put this out into the world.
I'm living now.
So anyway, that was a pretty significant moment for me.
Yeah.
'Cause that was my moment of, here's your 10% that you can't talk about.
Yeah.
You can't talk about the demands of discipleship.
As long as it looks neat and has a nice little bow on it, we can talk about it.
You can't possibly imply that service members maybe shouldn't have been service members.
Interesting.
Because that's sacred in our culture.
That I will say, I've noticed they've thrown the word sacred around a lot since January 6th.
Well,
it's
just religion.
They've thrown the word sacred around so much.
Why do you think we built a Greek temple to Abraham Lincoln?
No, I understand. It just, like, every time I decompartmentalize from the American part of me, I'm like, damn, this is crazy, right? Like,
it's weird how religious our democracy is.
Yeah. Anyway, not the point of the podcast today. Maybe next week.
Maybe another time, yes. So, that was a pretty telling... The point of telling the story is that I've never not been a person to ask hard questions about Christianity.
You actually got me in trouble for that once.
Did I? Oh,
yeah.
Tell me this story.
Our wonderful leader, Matt, that we mentioned earlier, now has an organization that actually, I think for my birthday this year, I'm going to try and do a charity run for them. We'll have to be family friendly, but we can do that for one stream.
Of course, anything to support what Matt's doing.
Yeah. I think I want to do it.
I firmly believe in everything Matt is doing right now.
Matt's doing great work. I've worked for him for 2 summers. His organization's called Forge Flint. Go check it out. It's really cool. I know it's kind of doxing Matt, but also like he deserves all the support.
Take donations? Go make a donation.
Yeah. On forgeflint.com or whatever, you can make a donation.
Go make donations.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool thing that he's doing.
The garage is doing really well. We can talk about this later. Anyway,
how did I get you in trouble?
So the first summer we ever did this, I was part of the original crew of people who set up like the rules, the regulations, the procedures, all that shit. I mean, mostly it was Matt, but like we're the ones who enforced it and came back with like feedback to be like, nah, that doesn't work. We need to figure something else out. Things like that. So you're welcome, Matt. So anyway, your guys' church group came for a weekend or for a week to do work around Flint and to meet people, do all that jazz. Well, at night, I knew everyone. So my job as a counselor is just to sit there at night, engage with kids, help. Oh, I'm sorry, baby. Help with anything that needs to be helped with, things like that. So I'm done with my responsibilities. I'm just sitting in a chair, hanging out at a table. And a kid walks up to me. It wasn't you this time. But a kid walks up to me. We're talking about, how was your day? That's cool. What have you been up to? How's school going? Oh, that's great. What do you think about the devotionals today or whatever? We started to chat about it. The kid had some really intense questions, which I'm good with. Because I obviously enjoy having these conversations. I enjoy facilitating these conversations. Clearly. So we're just chatting, and like some other kids saw us chatting. They know me. So like, well, what are you guys talking about? I was like, well, so-and-so was asking me about, at the time what was going on was, it was a killing of a black kid. I can't remember his name.
Trayvon.
Yeah.
Trayvon Martin.
Yep.
At that time.
Yep, that was going on. So we were talking about that. And wouldn't you know it, pretty soon none of the kids were playing basketball. None of the kids were doing this, that, the other. But the reason why I got in trouble because of you specifically is that I forget which night, but on another night something similar happened. It happened like 3 of the 5 nights you guys were there. But one of the nights, you and a couple other kids specifically tried to start it.
I like stirring the pot.
You specifically, and like loudly, was like, hey, Dan, some of us were talking. We wanted to do that thing we did last night again. And like a couple of the chaperones came over and like, oh, well, why don't we do that later? And like talk to me, people from our old church, and we're like, Dan, you can't do that. I was like, I didn't do anything. I just sat there. They asked questions. If you were to accept those kinds of questions, they'd ask you too. But you don't.
What questions are allowed are quite frequently the signifiers for who belongs.
Yeah. So the first night, not your fault. The second night were my fault. Third night they couldn't stop it in time. And then by the 4th night, they didn't care. 5th night, you guys were gone. So, oops.
Yeah, that was always me in youth group. I was always like, stir the pot, make them discuss something for real.
Oh, I know. I remember.
It was a fun time.
And how many times did I tell you, we got to do that just us because they don't let you do it?
And then we started hanging out at Starbucks after church.
Yeah, that was good. Anyway. We're going too far down memory lane. We've diverged from the path yet again. This is another Stu Leach moment. Go ahead and...
now you're the one doxing.
You did it earlier. You bleep it.
I will. I'll just cut it. So when I got to college, I was very opinionated. I'm always... fairly opinionated. I know.
Yeah.
I like to know what I think about things. It's not that I am the type of person who finds, like, if you disagree with my opinion, I'm fine with that. It's when you won't engage with me in talking about those opinions that I feel like put off. And so I've always been very opinionated to certain people about various topics. And so I came into college with some pretty
specific thoughts
about the way things should be done. And I was at that time I was also a little over some of the church's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember I used to have this it wasn't mine, but it was a group of friends that would meet in a prayer chapel on campus and hang out every single night.
Mm-hmm.
And literally every night we would do this. And
I remember.
Yeah, you came.
I can testify to that.
And one night I remember somebody, I do not remember their names, so I can't dox them.
Lasting friendships.
Not a friend. Someone I found deeply upsetting, actually, came over to me, and I remember talking to you about it because I was like, that was crazy, right?
Oh, yes, I know this story. I was thinking of it and almost wanted to bring it up. Okay, I'm so glad. Go on.
They came over to me, and I was just hanging. I was just chilling. I wasn't doing anything. They came over to me and was like, can I pray with you? I was like, yeah, of course you can pray with me. And then they prophesied over me that I was going to do great things because I had the mind of Christ within me. And I remember talking to you afterwards and being like, hey, so this happened. That's fun, right?
I remember thinking distinctly, because at this point, keep in mind there is an age difference between us. I've already been doing my deconstruction by the time Isaac tells me this story for a couple of years now. And I remember thinking, I mean, so what am I hearing? I'm hearing the usual generic bullshit, right? She knows Isaac. She knows Isaac's smart. She knows Isaac is gifted in the talent of, like, thinking abstractly. So of course she's going to say, you have the mind of Christ. Of course she will. Of course that's the prophecy, because you already have shown that to her. Like, but also, is it not in some way a form of affirmation? Like, is that not okay to say it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's the way you say it, though. And so what I told you was, like, to think about it and, like, be careful, because, like,
I remember you thinking that I was, like, taking it seriously.
I was like, so scared for you.
Oh, Dan, no.
Dude, and when you said that, I had this huge, like, weight lifted off my shoulders. Because I realized that, like, if I really am supposed to be some sort of spiritual advisor for anyone, like, I at least want to, like, warn you that, like, hey, that feels bad. That feels bad coming from me, just as a gut check from your buddy who has no reason to lie to you, like, at all. It just feels bad. Be careful. It doesn't mean it's not true. It just means be careful.
Yeah, no, I didn't buy that for a second.
Okay, good.
So, anyways, that happened. That
Sorry.
Yeah, you should apologize for assuming I was that stupid.
I am.
That happened. That was weird. And more things like that started happening around Olivet, with just people being, like, blatantly wrong about things. And I was, a good defender of the faith. So I would always, I always had an interesting opinion, although I wasn't really, even at that point, I wasn't really interested in controlling what people thought about things. I was just like, maybe don't speak that from a position of power, please. So I got into a specific relationship.
Yeah. I was gonna say, how comfortable are we getting?
We're getting real comfortable, and you're going to have to go back and get more comfortable. we're adding addendums to your story here because I can't be the only one
Oh
getting comfortable.
no, we can't.
I
We
will
can't.
talk about the Eiffel Tower
We
if
can't. No,
you
we that can be
dare
a. We've
refuse.
talked about it on the stream a dozen times at least.
I know.
My first kiss was on the Eiffel Tower. There. Now the podcast knows too, and it's immortalized forever. Just to make sure, it's gonna live on the podcast. It's gonna live on the YouTube channel. It's gonna live on.
It's not specifically what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how spiritual that relationship was for you. Well,
Oh, yikes.
I was in a particular relationship in college in which the person I was with had some serious mental health issues. And from my perspective, with my correct opinions about who God is and what God does, if you like earnestly
Ooh.
Sought out
Ooh.
the right thing,
Ooh.
things would get better.
Oh, there it is.
Not that you would be healed. I wasn't that person.
I know, but that you can in some way fight it, and you're not entirely wrong. But like,
it wasn't even that I expected like anything crazy to happen.
right?
Just that like there would be some evidence of like things. There's some like consistency to like this is still good, right? Like your life still matters, or like I don't really know what I was expecting because I've never been a believer in like supernatural healings, but it was one of those things where like, how to put this delicately, basically God failed me.
You put your trust in God and somehow it didn't work out, and so he failed you, kind of a thing. Yeah. Sorry to put it so bluntly. I just wanted to make sure I was understanding what you meant correctly.
Does that make sense? I mean, more personally about this relationship.
Yeah. There was a lot of prayer and I might have to take her out. Fuck. Sorry, you can cut that. There was a lot of prayer involved in that relationship, I remember. And so I can understand that hopes of, or that feeling of we wanted this thing so badly from someone who could in theory do anything, and yet somehow it still didn't happen.
Right. So that planted a seed. Do you need to take your dog out?
I do. Feel free to go on though, because I do know this story. If you just want to talk about how you. Okay, sorry everyone. Feel free to interact with the chat. Give some responses to post things that have already happened. I'm sorry. I'll be back in like 5-10 minutes. I'm sorry. Come on, we gotta be fast.
Jesse, we're gonna get to the politics of how all this fits together in the end regarding the countries you have mentioned. It's gonna be a fun one to edit. None of our episodes are fun to edit. I mean, it is fun. Editing is fun, but like none of them are simple. You can't ever just post the audio. I have to go and fix everything. We cut a lot of material. Man, the stream is slow. Ooh, that'll be fun. Next week is Lemorris. That'll also be fun. Keep your opinions to yourself. If I've learned anything, don't dissent. Yeah, I mean, good material would be... It'll come up. About to talk about why I deconstructed my faith, which was part of stopping the belief in an all-powerful God, which is what that sermon was about. Ooh, you don't care. Well, then why bother? I only debate with people who I care about. Unless I'm just looking for some fun entertainment, in which case I'll debate whoever, because I'm bored. Yeah, there's some problems with the whole... You could tell him my story about... I mean, you know the story about what I'm talking about. You know the person I'm talking about in this particular aspect of how I got to the opinions I arrived at. You could tell him that story. It's a good one. Pray all you want, do devotions all you want, serve people all you want, do the right thing, be active in the church. They'll still turn your back on you. And things will only get worse. So that doesn't really support the whole bad things are always for a purpose perspective. Not to mention larger issues like the Holocaust happened. Kierkegaard would be the tier 1 philosopher theologian who would support your position. Soren Kierkegaard basically stated that the point of life, what makes us aware of our own unique position in the world, is our anxiety, and that refusing to enter into anxiety. And when he says anxiety, he means that in like a broader like entering into the pain of life would be probably a more clear way to say it. Entering into the pain and embracing the pain is the only way to really reach God. And so it's not that God is trying to fix your pain. It almost never does, actually, because to do so would be to deny you your humanity. That's Soren Kierkegaard. That's what existentialism is built off of. The idea that our anxiety is what makes us human. Yes, Kierkegaard was very Christian. Well accepted. Nobody reads. Or, not that you have to read to know Kierkegaard. There's plenty of audio material that would cover him. Nobody cares would be a better way of stating that. They just want boilerplate theology that makes them feel good about their life.
So sorry, everyone. Wow, how unprofessional to have to deal with a dog.
So very unprofessional.
Ugh, I hate when people have other things in their lives.
You're missing out on a conversation about Kierkegaard.
Oh, I love that guy. I assume that's what you said about him.
Yes, I also love Kierkegaard.
Oh.
Can you still hear me? Can you walk away from your desk and hear me?
Yeah. These headphones go pretty far, and I've got some extenders, so.
Dang.
Yeah.
Where
you can
was
have
I?
one of them, I think. We were talking about your certain relationship that was very spiritual. And God failed you.
Yes. Or, to put it more clearly, my idea of God failed me. It didn't work anymore. So one of the experiences that we had was this individual was a leader in the youth group at the local church.
Yes.
And was in charge of, not really in charge of, but was basically like the youth leader representative at a sort of lock-in that was taking place at a house. So the girls and boys in the youth group basically just split up and went to different houses for this like sleepover event that they were having. And this person dared to share her testimony with these late middle school, early high school teenagers.
Impressionable age.
Yes. And, to be fair, actually, yes.
No, but also to be fair, hearing only one set of values.
It wasn't anything to do with values. It was the testimony itself. Because the testimony itself involved her mental illness. And how God was working through that mental illness. And what that meant for her faith and all that stuff. So, the host of the sleepover, a prominent member of the church, kicked her out. And she spent the entire night on campus outside in the middle of winter because it was after the dorms had closed and she had nowhere else to go.
Because of her testimony.
Because of her testimony. So that really pissed me off. Yeah. And then the church leaders supported the family that had kicked her out. So that pissed me off more.
I mean, I was there,
Yeah,
I'm.
We were living together when this happened.
I know.
You were there the night that this happened.
I was gonna say that's the thing. Like, for context, the reason why I'm not more responsive, I guess, is because I lived this. I remember these details vividly. It's
horrifying to remember, isn't it?
It's stressful to remember, especially because at the time, and like this is the part that I struggle with today as an adult, because when I go to a church, and this is something I'm struggling with, I will be seen as just an adult. These people have never met me in my life. They are going to think of me as just an adult. And so, I have to then represent Christ the way I think he should be represented, because I don't believe everything they're going to believe, statistically, given my nature. And I have to somehow, represent Christ as best I can then to offset this kind of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Where it's because as a college student on this campus, we could not house her that night. Even if we were steeped in the whole, how are we gonna, co-ed, we would have figured something out if we had been sleeping off campus. You know what I mean? If we'd been allowed to house women in our place. But we weren't. And so there was nothing we could do except get text updates.
Well, I left.
Well, to be fair, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I found her. She texted me. and I left the dorm late at night, and I got her into a lobby of a building on campus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember. Did I go with you that night?
You might have.
I might. Look, there were a couple crises that I was around for before the both of you, so I don't remember which ones are which sometimes. I do remember spending one in just a lobby, just sitting there and just like... that was the one. No, that's the one, because that particular memory I have is of anger. So
yeah,
that...
I was really,
yeah.
really angry that night. I was really, really angry.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, I lived this one. Yeah. Sorry, this was a first-person experience. I forgot it wasn't third. That's my bad.
Well, because we came back to our dorm's lobby first, so that's not where she ended up being, but... yeah, that was a bad night.
It was a rough one.
So that was one of the ways in which, like, okay, now that relationship ended, and it was a good thing that it ended. And
I don't think that reflects poorly on her in any way, though, or on your relationship or anything.
And it's also not to say that, like, nothing good is in her life. That's not the case. It's just that the way in which things from other people's testimonies, the way that God had responded didn't follow through. It seemed like the covenant, the promises that God had made, were being neglected. Now, at the same time that this happened, I was also taking philosophy classes with you for the most part.
Yeah, to be fair, that year, yes.
And one of those philosophy classes was epistemology.
Oh, yeah.
And then also philosophy of religion.
Good year, dude.
It was a good year.
That was a good year.
It was a very changing year for me because I deconstructed my faith this year.
That was the year that formed a lot of my personality style, I feel like, as an adult.
It was a very good year. Well, because of those classes, and because of the questions that those classes raised, my values changed.
Oh, no.
Instead of valuing, good faith, which to me meant good belief at the time, I started valuing the pursuit of truth.
Oh, no. That's dangerous.
Which meant that certain questions were back on the table, like the problem of evil
on
the table.
I need to get a soundboard so that I can really crank it for the stream.
Yeah?
What
crank used here?
There was a TikTok sound a while back that said dangerous, like in a song. So I would I'd hit that up.
I was thinking maybe like a chicka-chicka.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Would be appropriate. Not right now, but like in some places.
In some places it would be appropriate. Yeah.
So like I started having questions that I had put away because, Lewis answered the problem of pain when he wrote, yada yada.
Lewis solved a lot of problems.
I had boilerplate answers to my faith that then I started asking questions about, and all of a sudden I was like, my answers are bad.
Well,
they're bad answers.
Well, when you get questions from boilerplates, the only answers are in the boilerplates.
Right. And I had some of the seeds of heresy planted by somebody in particular's use of Rob Bell in youth group. Watching things like Everything is Spiritual and
it's so good though.
It's really good. Highly recommended. You should go watch it.
It's good McDonald's.
And then at the same time, this is like the perfect storm for a young, philosophically minded Christian. At the same time that all this was going on, the Liturgist podcast started.
Yeah, that was a good year, dude.
It was a good year, man. What year was that? 2015? The last good one?
2015 going into 2016.
Yeah. And then 2016 happened.
Yep.
So the Liturgist podcast happens, and raises even more questions.
Yep. Brings some new questions to the front of the mind.
One of which was Mike McHargue talks about in a particular episode a study that he read about prayer.
Oh, it's my favorite study he's ever talked about. It stuck with me too.
It's an important study.
It's a good one.
Interested in modern Christian theology, you should read the study.
Hit him with it.
So the study analyzed cancer patients, and it made 4 groups of cancer patients, if I'm remembering this correctly.
I believe so.
3. The first group was their kind of control, in which people who had cancer were not prayed for. And they tracked their recovery rates, and not only that, but also the rate of miraculous recovery. And what they found was that they had, there was a certain rate to this miraculous recovery and recovery. Then they had a second group of people that were prayed for, and they found a certain rate of miraculous recovery and recovery. Then they had a third group. No, there were 4 groups. The prayed for group was split into 2 different groups. Those who knew that they were being prayed for, and those who didn't know they were being prayed for. And the point of the test was to see how being prayed for affects recovery rates, and how knowing that you're being prayed for affects recovery rates. And what they found was that there is no difference.
Oh no.
And in fact, the group that was prayed for had a slightly lower recovery rate than the group that was not prayed for.
Oh no. Oh no.
And then,
but guys, God. But guys.
And then Mike brings up something. When people are healed, they attribute it to God. God's grace just really brought me through this disease. God's will was to heal me. Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
The happy scenario. When people die and they've been prayed for, it was God's will to take him.
Yikes, huh?
So no matter what,
yikes.
You can't question whether or not God answers prayers all the time.
Okay, maybe I was thinking of something else. I was thinking of the milk jug.
The milk jug?
You don't remember the milk jug? Oh, the milk jug stuck with me, not the study specifics, even though every time I hear it I remember and it kills me. Because it's so funny that it statistically did worse. I love it only because it feeds my skepticism.
And there were 600 people in each of these groups.
Oh yeah, and it's just study. We need a link. Jesse needs a link for tomorrow, apparently.
Yeah, I have a link to it. I'll send it to you.
Put in the philosophy maybe in the Discord, actually.
Sure.
And say in regards to Cogitators, and if no one watches it. So here's the thing. There is a thing you can do to really, it makes you feel foolish, and then you realize exactly the point of it. You take a milk jug and you write God on it, and for a week you pray to the jug, just like you would pray to God. And what you realize is that a lot of it is just waiting for things to happen, because we've rationalized it. So we say there's 3 different ways God can answer prayer. I remember having a journal when I was 9. They told us to keep track of a journal. This is the craziest thing thinking back to it. Now that I'm articulating it to another human, this sounds wild. This Sunday school teacher wanted me to keep track of what I prayed for and whether or not the answer was yes, no, or wait. Do you know what happens if you want something? It either happens, it doesn't, or it happens later than you want it to. Right?
Sure.
Those are the three options. Either it happens, it never happens, or time passes and then it happens. That covers the entire continuum, broadly speaking. So why are you praying to a jug? That stuff's... Even if you don't believe that the jug can do any power, by praying to it, what have you made a difference in the outcome of the thing? Right? It's like you rationalize prayer as being signs because you asked for it. But if you wait, either it will happen or it won't. And in the context of when you want it, it might not happen immediately. That's it. And when you think about it like that was another point that he brought up that always sticks with me, that feeds my skepticism. That, like, you just don't know. It's why I'm agnostic. I don't think there isn't a God, but God, I don't know what to attribute to it. To them. I don't know. Because sometimes it just happens. Sometimes things just happen. So that's where we are in the story. I'm sorry, Isaac. I didn't mean to hijack your bit. I realized I did that.
No, you're good. Because that was also another thing. This all comes from one episode of The Liturgist.
It's a good podcast. Go listen to that. After you're done with this episode.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
So these are all thoughts spinning around in my head. And one day I decided, and it wasn't just one day, it was like this whole process leading up to this, but I decided I'm just going to let go of these ideas. Not the questions, but the opinions. One would call them beliefs. Just going to let go.
Just let go.
And part of the reason I made that decision was because, aside from our little group that would sometimes meet after dark in the park and do nefarious things,
you got it.
Go smoke pipes in the park.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it never happened. Apart from that little group, I could not talk to anybody about this. Because anytime you try to, like, you're in an academic setting in class, right?
Of course.
You should be able to ask hard questions.
You should be able to ask hard questions, but I think all of that especially suffers from the idea that even though they're a liberal arts school, they're only a liberal arts school in their curriculum, not in the decorum.
But it's not even Olivet, it's the students. I never had a problem with any faculty members talking about these things. Even the most conservative faculty members would talk to me about these things. Dr. Olney at Olivet, very conservative.
Very.
Would talk to me about my radical... by the time I got to him, I was well beyond this part of my little journey. But, like, he would respectfully have conversations with me, even though we disagreed.
Wow.
And I appreciate that. I'm okay with that. We don't have to agree. The students couldn't handle it.
Yeah. No, I mean, go on.
And the other people that couldn't handle it were the adults in church. They couldn't handle doubt.
Well, it feels like that's who the students become, right? The students at Olivet become members of the church. Right? Like, that's the point of Olivet. They are educating the future church, essentially, is their plan. That's why they're associated with a church.
Yeah.
In theory, is like, here is education. We are giving it to you because we care about education as a society. So we have set up a place where you can get it. And so all they're doing is educating the church. What you're seeing at Olivet is the culture of the church. Holy shit. I'm sorry. I knew that.
Concentrated.
I knew that, but I never like rationalized it out loud. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, that's exactly what it is. It's a little microcosm, a little bubble where only church happens inside. It's church camp, but for, young adults.
Dude, the first few days at Olivet absolutely feel like church camp.
They are. It's functionally the same, except for the faculty who are like, no. We're a school, not a church camp. I don't have any ill will towards any of the faculty at Olivet. It's the culture of it that I couldn't. How to put this?
Yeah.
I was rejected by because I asked hard questions. And so I was like, okay, well then maybe screw this. Maybe screw trying to be this Christian person who believes all the right things or like really wrestles with this stuff.
Yeah.
The problem was that I couldn't pull that off. I couldn't not care. I had to care. I did continue to wrestle with the ideas, and that got me into more trouble.
Yep.
Because even though my faith looked very different, and I didn't believe like God miraculously heals people, I didn't believe in miracles, I didn't believe in, but some members of my family are still really hung up on the fact that I don't believe in angels or the devil. Because how could you believe in that?
Angels are scary.
Biblically correct angels.
Bro, angels, let's assume the Bible is absolutely correct in every single way possible, huh? Let's assume that just in general, let's assume that word for word, perfect. Angels is scary, man. I don't want to meet an angel. I'm good.
But like, so one of the
It's a beholder. It's a beholder.
It is. One of the things that we had to read, and Dan, you were in this class with me, was David Hume's of Miracles.
Yeah.
You remember that reading?
Vaguely.
Where
I remember David Hume's. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So David Hume makes the case that, okay, if you're going to ethically hold a belief, the evidence for that belief must outweigh the evidence against it.
Yeah, I remember this argument.
Pretty straightforward position to hold. You should have more reason to believe the things than there are reasons against the things that you believe.
Yeah.
Fine. I'm there with you. Then he says, so now about miracles.
Yep.
Hey, Dan, have you ever seen a miracle?
Put him in the dirt, Isaac. Do it, David Humes.
You ever seen one?
David Humes, put them in the dirt, because I ain't seen no miracles.
You haven't seen a miracle? How many times have you not seen a miracle?
Ooh, hey, David Humes, put them in the dirt, because it's been a lot of times I've not seen a miracle.
How many times have you seen the physical laws of the universe being obeyed?
Oh, Humes. Good news, buddy. A lot. Almost constantly, bud.
So, that doesn't necessarily mean that miracles aren't true. But if the evidence we have for miracles is somebody else's testimony, let me ask you a quick question.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to tell you something.
Okay. Play along at home if you want.
Olivet's not real.
Okay.
And doesn't exist. It's a figment of your imagination, and this has all been a dream.
Oh, no.
Okay? That's my testimony.
All
that
right.
had a deep impression on me. This is what I saw. I'm an eyewitness.
Oh, no.
Who do you trust more?
Hey, guys. Oh, no.
Who do you trust more? You and your experience, or my eyewitness testimony.
Guys, I'm in a real pickle because right now it's 1v1 and I don't know who to believe.
Do you believe your own experience or the experience of others?
Oh no, guys, I think I might believe the experience of others for my own beliefs and therefore follow Isaac blindly, despite whatever I might feel.
Which one do you have more evidence for, though?
Oh, definitely mine, personally. I, have seen it myself, yeah.
Okay, so back to miracles. And that's basically how David Hume's of miracles works.
To miracles.
He basically says, you have a lifetime of evidence saying these never happened and have never happened. And yet, because somebody 2,000 years ago who doesn't speak the same language as you and has a totally different worldview says that these happened, you believe them. And that's an unethical position to hold.
Oh no.
Because it's contrary to the evidence.
It's ludicrous when you think about it.
It's almost like if you're going to believe in evidence,
you
can't believe in things like angels.
Oh no. Yikes-erinos, guys. Looks like we've canceled angels. Man, I hate cancel culture so much. It's taken so much.
Now, there's a lot of other things that you can apply this belief to.
Like?
Now, if millions of people had documented evidence of miracles, that'd be one thing. Like, I've never been to North Korea. Who has? But you have reason to believe, based on the evidence available,
it seems. Yeah, I've not experienced that one, but that one seems pretty solid.
Not that you have to experience things directly. You can accept belief based on other testimony or other evidence that's presented to you. But it can't contradict your experience. And so now be a young Christian man in a very conservative Christian university, and you're like, hey guys, maybe miracles aren't real.
Oh no, don't do that.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, don't do that. Because what will happen is that you'll be instantly ostracized from everybody.
Oh no. You too?
Yeah, it turns out I don't fit in there very well.
Oh no.
People don't really like me there because, unfortunately, I asked the wrong questions. That's fucking hilarious.
You
don't get it. It's a reference to Evangelion.
I was gonna say, it looks like some kind of
nerd shit.
Yeah, it looks like a reference.
Yeah, because Evangelion is all about fighting angels.
We need to finish
name dropping the angels from Evangelion.
I just need to watch that with you. It's fine.
You
anyway.
So, yeah. So, these are the wrong questions to have. And the wrong answers to have, because let's be real here. There's some implied answers there. What does it mean, then, to be a Christian if miracles aren't real? What about the resurrection? What does that mean?
My favorite is Immaculate Conception.
Well, see, I like to go straight to resurrection because it really gets people riled up.
I like Immaculate Conception because people have a weird hang-up with Mary. You can't fuck with Mary. They like to ignore the fact that eventually she had a second son. So it's not like Jesus was really special in that department. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like...
No. Mary was a virgin her whole life, according to the Catholic Church, despite the fact that Jesus has a brother in the Bible.
Like, in the Bible, it says his brother James. It's fine. Anyway, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Immaculate Conception isn't about the virgin birth. If you're talking about the virgin birth, that's a whole nother thing.
Fair, but also Immaculate Conception, which is another whole...
That Mary was perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that kind of fall apart very quickly.
There's a lot of things.
When you say...
Well, at least when you take it at face value and you don't do the research and...
Yeah, and you don't bother to ask the question, what is meaningful about this?
Yeah.
Why would they bother writing this?
Right. And not maybe just take it at face value of like, well, I guess she just had Jesus. That's neat. Wow, neat. Someone did that once. But I don't think that, but I don't know if that's what happened.
It's almost like there's other meanings that are implied that don't require you to believe in the literal things that are written.
Yeah, but I don't think that's actually what they're trying to talk about.
Yeah, it's almost like maybe these things are meaningful outside of this particularly Western context in which we have placed them.
Yikes. Yes, Mary. The Catholic Churches believe Mary was a virgin her whole life.
That is true.
Accurate.
Unfortunately. I would be a really good Catholic if they didn't have some of the crazy beliefs that they have.
I've thought
really good Catholic.
Yeah, I've thought about that too. It's rough out there.
Unfortunately, they believe that communion literally becomes the body and blood of Christ, and I just can't go there with them.
Yeah, that's beyond me. Transubstantiation all the way, man. Let me tell you.
It's weird. It's weird stuff.
Ooh.
And you never hear Catholics talk about it. They're just like, well,
no, we
don't talk about that one.
Well, no, my Catholic friends love their my older Catholic friends love their communion time. They always talk. They always
Catholic friends. I'm talking about the Catholic Church.
Oh yeah. No. They don't broadcast that one to people who aren't in the circle. They don't really like to talk about it.
You don't see all these renowned theologians from the Catholic Church having like deep, intimate discussions about transubstantiation because they're like, oh man, just forget about that one for just a little while.
I mean, like, don't think about
like
it.
The new Star Wars canon. Like, look, the soft erase of the sequels where there's like, maybe we just don't talk about it anymore.
Look. We took the best parts of that old thing, and that's what we're talking about now. Okay, that other stuff we don't really talk about, but we do want to talk about like Thrawn. Thrawn's great. We're gonna pull him back in. Ahsoka. We have people like Ahsoka. We're going to pull Ahsoka back in. That's how the Catholic Church decided which theology to broadcast.
Rey? What is Rey? Finn? I do not know this Finn.
I do know about Poe though. I've heard about Poe. I've heard about
that Finn.
Oh, I've heard about Poe.
Oh yeah, we just don't really talk about him anymore.
I've heard about Poe.
That's kind of the strategy, as far as I can tell. Anyways, apart from this tangent, so
2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's fine. I was in this group in college that was doing active ministry while all of this was going on.
Yep.
I was active in the church. I was preaching. I was traveling, spreading the good news of Olivet and Nazarene University, and also Jesus sometimes. And word gets out that you maybe have some opinions. And so I was a little outcast there.
Oh no.
Couldn't really talk, my friends who are genuinely friends. I deeply care about these people, but I can't talk about faith with them. Because it's radically different. They're talking about God spoke to me and has this purpose for my life. And I just couldn't believe that. And I think that's what people don't get about the experience of deconstruction, or when you take this seriously, you don't choose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't choose to unask the question.
But here's the thing. You just can't. You can't actually do it, but people just bury their heads in the sand so fucking deep that the questions can't reach them. You know what I'm saying? Like...
But then they never ask the question,
Yeah.
Like, at some point, you ask enough questions that you can't believe certain things anymore. It's not a choice. You just can't. Like, could you go back to believing in a God who's all-powerful but also allows the Holocaust to happen? who allows Hurricane Katrina to happen.
Ooh, hit me close to home with that one.
I know. But could you believe in that God?
Wow.
Is that a choice you could make?
I think there are people who could. I don't think that there are many.
Okay, but you. Because what I'm trying to get at is that when then people in the church ask you to believe, what are they actually asking you for?
I think I know why I struggled to answer your question. Because I can believe it, because I did once. I just... It you can believe anything blindly is the problem. Does that make sense? I think the issue is ethical belief. You're right. I can't ethically believe that, but I think that at face value at your question, yes, you can believe it, but no, not ethically. Like, you can't believe that if you're going to actually put your ideas into the world. You know what I'm saying?
But do you feel like you could still embrace who you are and believe those things? Could you believe that God hates gay people and still be damned?
No. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. No. So yes, to answer your question before, no. So yes, ethical belief. If that's what we're talking about, then I can't believe any of that. No.
Or just authentic belief.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Like, not just saying like, yeah, sure. Yeah, no, I can't do it. I can't believe that.
Like, obviously there are people who believe that. But
you asked the question.
Could you personally believe that?
You've seen how much I've put away. You can't blame me on that one. You gotta be more specific. I can't believe that.
Right. That's the point I'm trying to make. Is that when people then you go into church and people say you can't be here unless you believe this, it's not just oh well, we're protecting the faith.
Yeah. No, it is absolutely. It feels like almost like a dog whistle of like, do you like, are you on the right team? It doesn't feel like genuine concern about someone's faith. It doesn't feel like you're worried about what they believe. You worry that they're on the same team as you.
Well, and it's people who don't want to wrestle with God. It's people who want to have, this is my set of beliefs. I'm going to check out from now on.
Oh, you know what it is? It's cowards who say, I don't want to have hard conversations. Are you going to make me have hard conversations? No.
Are you going to make me engage with you about our differences as people?
Oh, no? Perfect. Let me tell you. Would love to just have those core set of values the same. That's great.
We believe that a literal flood happened. You're in for that? We believe in a literal 6-day creation. Yeah, you're in for that?
Okay, yeah, that one, no. The flood, I've been to a doctor who was like, I got this fish thing from the top of a mountain. Like, Pangea is a possibility. Like, there's the difference.
The biblical account of the flood is 100% accurate.
No. I'm just saying
but that's the distinction.
Right. And that's my point, is the fact that, like, that's the other thing, right? Is that I'm willing to say, look, some of this shit did indeed happen because history happened. I'm not dumb. Like,
well, but here's the problem, is that, sure, maybe the whole earth was underwater at one point. The biblical authors have no idea.
No, I had no idea. Well,
that's clearly not what the story is about.
But they kind of do through potential stories of creation, because we see that in other cultures. I've read many creation stories from other cultures in different places across the world that have a flood. Like, that's not.
There are other reasons for that, though.
Oh, I'm sure it's symbolism or whatever. Like,
it has nothing to do with a worldwide flood. It has way more to do with how myth works.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a mythical thing of God being angry, but also we have evidence of Pangea. It's not crazy that people would in some way create these mythos similarly for a reason. But is the biblical author 100% correct? Absolutely fucking not. No.
Yeah, I mean, my understanding is that the biblical authors and even the authors of the mythology have no awareness.
No idea.
The earth was one time flooded, and it
no
has
idea
nothing to do with that.
No idea. No, that's what I'm saying. This is a instance of coincidence forming something and people going, "No, it's God." You know what I mean? Like that's my issue, is that there's no acceptance of the possibility that maybe, just maybe,
or like, but like the point I'm trying to get at is that like the way belief is used in the church, and this was especially true for my experience at Olivet, that people who ask you to believe in a certain way in order to be Christian don't understand that they're asking you for something that's not possible.
Can you say that again for the ones in the back, please? Because that hit different for me. I don't know if maybe it's just because I'm crossfaded or whatever, but like, man, that felt good.
People who ask you to believe in order to be a Christian don't understand that they're asking you for something that's not possible.
Tasty.
So my story continues. Let's get to the end of it. We're so close.
2.5 hours. Let's go.
Hey, you asked for the 40-minute pitch.
Oh, I joked, huh? Sure did joke.
In ministry teams, which is what they were called at Olivet, one of my in which the way ministry teams works was that there were like different bands, like musical groups that would go out and evangelize people to come to the university. One of my bandmates allegedly and confirmedly, but allegedly, went to our boss and said that I needed to be fired because I didn't believe the right things. That was fun. Something worse happened, though. And you know about this.
He's a friend of mine, so be careful. Don't dox him.
No doxing. Ministry teams people were not the most moral.
No.
They did things that were bad.
Correct.
People in ministry teams broke their covenant to ministry teams pretty regularly.
Correct.
And the covenant, just for those who are kind of outside the group, is like a code of morals that you follow.
You promise to follow. Please don't phrase it as if people follow the covenant. Please don't pretend like literally anyone follows the covenant besides people who like the covenant.
Nobody follows. Even the people who like the covenant don't follow the covenant. Part of the covenant is like, I won't watch any inappropriate movies.
Okay, yeah, no, everyone breaks the covenant. There's like one person in one dorm every year that like could probably say, no, I didn't break the covenant.
Well, part of ministry teams is like you swear on to a stricter version of that covenant.
I can't imagine.
Nobody takes it seriously. Not even the people who run the show. And one of our group members confessed to some of us that
in a moment of vulnerability too, as I understand it,
that he was struggling to keep part of the ethics of the covenant. Later on, it came out that he was gay. Some members of my band went to our boss and tattled on him for the ways in which he had broken the covenant. And
it makes me so angry, the things you're about to say.
They were, to be fair, pretty bad. Some of the things he did were pretty not okay. And the problem is that there were other members of the group who had done the same things.
Mm-hmm. There it is. There it is.
And so, but because the rest of the group had tattled on this member for breaking the covenant, he got fired. And this was the way that he was paying for his college education. So being fired meant he dropped out of school. They didn't tattle on anyone else. They only tattled on him after one of his friends told us that he was gay. I was really angry about this.
Hey kids, remember, don't out people. It's not ethical. It's not your place.
It's not ethical. Also, not a good reason for someone to lose their job.
Absolutely not. But that's what I'm saying. Like, just keep in mind when you're talking to folks, the reason why you gotta be careful is because there are still people who do shit like this.
Yeah. Certainly. And so at the meeting in which our boss told us that he had his hands tied, and our boss was a good man, and he's a good friend of mine. But he had his hands tied by the administration. They had to know. And the decision to fire, he abdicated to the administration because he could not make it.
Agreed, Jesse. 2 times over.
And the administration chose to fire him, obviously. You know, the spoilers, the end of the story.
Yeah, of course.
At the meeting where our band members shared their opinions about his... what did they say? He's unfit to lead.
Ugh.
Unfit to be a part of the church.
Ugh.
Was their language.
It makes me... I'm literally tearing up. Like, not as an exaggeration. It makes me so sad to hear.
At that meeting, I expressed to the group, if this is how you guys feel about my friend here, certainly you're consistent, right? You know the ways in which I've broken the covenant. You know
tattle on me.
I told them, if this is how you guys feel about Paul, I quit.
Good doxing there.
One name.
One name.
Yeah, it's Paul. His name is Paul. He's a good friend. I'm not
going
to give you his last name.
No, he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
He is a good guy. If this is how you guys feel about Paul, certainly this is how you feel about me. So I quit. After that conversation, my boss came to me and said, "No, you don't."
he said, "No, not on principle. No."
No, you don't quit. In fact, he told me, I need someone with your disposition to be a voice in this group because it's really toxic. I said, you're right. I do care about these people, even though they make me sick.
Yeah, they did something that was really gross.
But and then I said, okay, I will make a compromise with you. You're going to give me a month off for free.
Oh.
Because I can't look at them. I was so angry.
I remember that month off, and I did not realize that was part of a deal.
It was a good month.
I forgot I did not realize that month was part of a deal. That's interesting.
Yeah. So I got a month off of work, which was a good month. And then I had to go back, and I was never close with them ever again. Ever. And in fact, later on, I went to our boss, who I will call Joel, because that's his name. I went to Joel and basically outed myself, and I was like, listen, if my bandmates come to you with any dirt, here's what they'll say. And I just told him all of the ways I had broken the covenant. He was like, oh, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I needed you to know that so that I wasn't in a position where if I pissed them off, they would try to get me fired.
What did superhuman Hulk Joel say to that?
He literally just was like, are you okay? Are you good? And I was like, yeah. I knew that if I was ever going to do what he had asked me to do, which was be a good influence on that group and help to repair what had been done, he needed to know what they knew first so that they didn't have any cards to play against me. He was like, cool, I'll keep this between us. It's thanks, Joel.
Amazing.
So that is that story, and that Because I took Paul's side, I was never welcome in that group again. Now, I wasn't the only person in the group to take Paul's side.
But you were the one that was scapegoated.
Vocal. I was the only one who was vocal about it. Well, that's not super fair. I was the only one willing to quit over it.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it was just a bad time for me and my relationship with the Nazarene church, which at the time, because of the nature of the job, my church was my band, which had disappointed me.
To put it mildly.
Yeah. And so at that point, I was even more fed up with the church. But I was still engaged, at least internally, with God and theology and trying to figure all this stuff out. Because if it didn't mean what I was told it meant my whole life, it still meant something, and I had to figure that out.
There was something there. There was some nugget of something.
Yeah. And that's how I got to where I am today.
Oh my God, I love the fact that I could easily at any point interject in your story and like parallel you almost perfectly at any point. Like, I don't know why we took 2.5 hours to tell one story twice. It's so crazy. I love it. You okay? You okay? Okay. All right.
No, I'm good. I've just been talking for a long time.
I know.
So
hey,
it's your turn.
Hey, how does it feel, huh?
Bad.
Yeah, it feels bad. Yeah. That's why the front half I was like begging for a way out, and you were like, no, get back in there. No.
Yeah, so get back in there.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I feel weird because it feels like this has almost been a therapy session, but I think it's important to understand where we come from because, I mean, our experiences and our how to put this, like, desires and how we were let down really influence our philosophy in a lot of ways.
Very much.
I mean, for me, talking about neglect, a lot of my philosophy revolves around basically being self-sufficient, I feel like. Because that's always been the name of the game. Always been the name of the game is self-sufficiency. So I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, that just feels natural to be part of my philosophy.
I think I just thought of a good way to express what this journey was like for me.
Okay.
It never felt like I rejected Christ or God or Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like I outgrew the explanations I had been given.
Ooh, that hits differently, and I fully agree. I don't know how you deal with this, but I have a hard time figuring out how to reconnect. So I think a part of my issue personally with when I left the church was that it was like we were talking about the timeline before. I graduated 2016. So my entire post-education life has been under Trump. You know, like from the get-go, it's been Trump Town 24/7. No, but I had all 4 years of like as an adult postgraduate completely.
I mean, okay, let me slap back. I was at Olivet when Trump was elected.
Ooh, yeah, you win the clap back there. Let me tell you, that's rough. Because I was at least in Chicago where everyone was like, "Damn, that sucks."
Everybody I knew was like, "Hell yeah, Trump's the best." I was
like,
"Uh-oh,
gross."
This does not bode well for my particular persuasion.
Oh no. You're the guy from The Simpsons on the bus. Haha, I'm in danger.
All of my roommates at the time Trump was elected were huge fans.
Oh no. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we should end the podcast. I feel like not the stream, because we give you all an extra 15, 20 minutes, sometimes an hour, depending on how long of a rant Isaac goes on. But I feel like we should end the recording because we've been going for almost 3 hours, and future Isaac will appreciate this.
True. Should we land on something?
Yeah, I think what we land on is that everyone's story is a little different, despite the similarities, because we all need different things, and identifying that need is important. Like, for me, my need is like, what's the opposite of neglect? Attention, I guess. Sounds terrible, but you know what I mean? Like, interpersonally. Because that's what I would do. I reach out to people. I want to find out how people are doing. I try anyway. It's hard, but I try. I don't know what needs you found in your journey. Oh no, we lost him again. Damn it. Damn it.
Love that for me.
I love it for you. What'd you lose in your journey, or what'd you find in your journey?
Here's what I think I would like to end on.
Okay.
What I took away from that whole process was that there's got to be a way to do Christian community in which we don't all have to agree with each other.
Is that a like axiom imperative, or is that just like a desperately seeking this?
Both.
You know it's out there, you just gotta figure it out.
Or create it for myself.
You know what I'm saying, like, do it.
Yeah. It's just, my disposition is a little more like, okay, well, this doesn't work, so fuck that. I'm gonna go do my own thing.
If it doesn't work, I'll figure it out myself, I guess.
I'm gonna go make my own party with blackjack.
Oh, God. It's coming. I think that is a good place to land, though. And I think it's a true place to land. Hey, Isaac, thanks for chatting with me.
Yeah, it was a fun episode. It was kind of laid back.
It was laid back. We had some drinks. We relaxed, and we told the truth.
Certainly did. Maybe too much truth.
Oh no.
Ruh-roh.
Ruh-roh.
Going on the internet.
Uh-oh. Forever. Uh-oh.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah. Bye recording. Bye podcast. All right, now for the streaming crew. What's up? 3 more hours. 3 more hours.
It's just the three of us, I think.
Oh, it super is, but that's fine. It'll live on the YouTube page. Someone will watch this. Shout out to my friend Travis, who straight up just watches VODs while he grades papers. I've heard that my VODs are very good for grading papers, and I don't know if that is a good thing or a bad thing.
I doubt that the podcast VOD is good for it.
Ooh, that's an excellent point.
Like, this is a good VOD for, like, I'm driving to work, in which case, just listen to the goddamn podcast.
Oh, okay. All right, relax.
Okay, but
it's our project, right? It's our project.
Our analytics on the podcast are trash, though.
Takes time, dude.
I know, it's so much work.
I know. Hey, bud.
Nobody to listen to it.
Hey, bud. Yeah, tell me about it. Hey, bud. 4 years. RP Geniuses. Ever heard of it? This exact stream, there's 3 of us. Ever heard of it?
The last time we had a stream, there were 20 people there.
No, we've done some big streams. Actually, the Stardew streams are doing really well.
I bet that's a really popular game.
People are tuning in. Facebook Live helps, I gotta say. It's a big one.
I'm sure your parents appreciated this. They probably jumped in when I was talking about how the military is evil.
I mean, you know. LeMayo, thank you, Jesse. Ugh.
So how you doing?
Me?
Dredging up all this old dirt.
Here's the thing. I feel fine because part of my new outlook on theology is I don't really need anyone's approval. That's not how theology actually works. That's how religion works, because religion is an institution. I am a single individual. So I'm allowed to ascribe to an institution and have my own thoughts. That's how I'm feeling about it. Especially as long as the institution is not representing anything actively harmful and it is a point of dogma or semantics. I'm good with that. Like, I've justified churches that require the, like, Apostles' Creed because it has the Virgin Mary thing in it. I've rationalized that on semantical points, I can't say that with a straight face. I would just say the words we're saying mean different things to us.
Yep.
I would say that when I say one thing and you say the same thing, it's like saying tomato and tomato. They're different.
Really, I want to challenge that. Can you really have community with people when you're playing chameleon with your actual thoughts and ideas? Is that real?
No, but I would say that lying to an institution and lying to my friends is different. So I would lie to the institution of I'm going to just pick a name. I'm just going to pick a name, and it's not a thing against any kind of particular tradition. I don't mind lying to the Methodist Church, but I'll absolutely tell Bob, who's in the community with me, yeah, man, I don't know if I can buy that. I'm willing to say that if we're saying this, then yeah, I'm willing to buy the virgin birth. You know? Oh, hey, nerds. Hi, Steg. How are you? We've had drinks. We've had, I've had other stuff. I don't know. I'm a little crossfade. We're just hanging out after the recording. So this is like our version.
The one with the fucks in it.
Yeah. With more fucks in it anyway. We try to reduce the fucks in the other one. The other one is like TV-14. It's a little edgy, but like not really. This is the rated R version. This is uncensored.
NC-17 version.
NC-17. I love using TV ratings more than movie ratings. Do you want to know why, though? Far more arbitrary numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Far more arbitrary. 13, first time you're a teenager. That makes perfect sense. PG-13... Oh, Isaac is a little quiet. Fuck.
It's because I'm away from my mic.
You gotta help me out, bud. I raised you a little bit too, so you can do that. Dan, you sound sick. I'm drunk. Steg, not sick.
How are you drunk?
I haven't had alcohol in 30 years.
Are you a lightweight now?
I am. Dude,
Welcome to the party.
I was going to say,
who know that it's obviously superior.
Poo, man. Poor man. Oh, yeah, no, here's the thing. Once upon a time, when I was heavier, I could pack shit away. No problem. Lose 50 pounds. Now, can't handle drinks. Can't do it. Puts me down. Puts me in the ground quickly. There became a point during the podcast, Isaac, I just want you to know, where I realized I need to shut up.
I was like, you were drunk?
I was like, oh, I'm full Michael Jonesing now. Oh, I just will not shut up. Oh, that's good.
Oh, shit.
I have ascended.
I had 2.5 shots of Makers, and I'm fine.
Oh, bud. I had 2 glasses with like 2.5 shots.
Oh, so you're like pretty far ahead of me. I'm not trying to get drunk on a Wednesday, my dude.
Here's the difference. I work from home. I'm going to wake up tomorrow, and as long as I put out the dog before she has an accident inside, it doesn't matter what time I wake up, as long as I make my 9:30 meeting. Steg is 100% correct. Write/talk drunk and edit sober.
Oh, that is totally the idea. I almost only ever drink when I'm on stream because it makes me more entertaining.
Well, I'm sorry. I tried to put you in the ground. You ignored a good burn from me earlier, so I do want to go back and address that. I was talking about Michael Jones, actually, full circle. I said, I was talking about how I wish... Michael Jones from Achievement Hunter, if you don't know him, look him up. I find him incredibly funny. His whole thing is that he doesn't try to make people laugh. He only does shit to entertain himself at the expense of other people that he is making content with. I sent you an episode of his...
I saw that, yeah.
You don't have to listen to the podcast if it's not your speed, but I highly recommend you listen to the entire episode because the last 10 minutes is the greatest plot twist in podcasting history. And it's about a food podcast that I am saying these things. Greatest plot twist in history. Go listen to the latest Face Jam. This is the Face Jam Challenge. That was from a year ago. When they were first starting a year ago, there's not many episodes. You could get caught up real fast. They were doing a thing where they were doing the Face Jam Challenge where you basically held someone hostage and tell them to listen to Face Jam. I'm a little late. It was the long con, but here we are. Hashtag listen to Face Jam. Got you. Pranked. Oh. Fuck. Damn it. All right, well.
You are drunk.
To be fair, I'm not actually that drunk. I just knocked something over, so I played into
Jesse
it.
asked us to talk about Kierkegaard.
Oh, Kierkegaard's my favorite. So, why do you like Kierkegaard, Isaac? Because I don't want to hear your elevator pitch for Kierkegaard first. I want to hear why you like him, and then we can give the elevator pitch.
I like him because he was pissed off at the church his whole life.
I like him because he talks so fucking dramatically. He uses his philosophy books as like a journal to try and like get his feelings out. He's the Gerard Way of philosophy. He writes the crazy ass shit, this like ridiculous notions that we're all plays, but we're all plays for each other. It feels like a Panic at the Disco song. You know what I mean?
I had to give a lecture on Kierkegaard.
He has some emotions.
To about 150 freshman students at Olivet. And in my lecture, because this was for Theo 101, we were talking about Kierkegaard.
I would have absolutely related him to Gerard Way. They would have all gotten it. You would have been the coolest TA ever. People wouldn't be shit posting about you.
I'm too old for that. What I did compare him to was Kurt Cobain.
Oh, you compared him to Kurt Cobain. That's interesting.
He's the Kurt Cobain of philosophers.
Yeah, if only you were a little younger, Gerard Way was also an acceptable answer.
Who is Gerard Way?
Fuck, dude. Panic at the Disco? Come on, dog.
Emma, I don't like Panic at the Disco.
My sister's going to kick your ass the next time she sees you. I'm going to show her this, and she's going to kick your ass for not knowing who Gerard Way is. Let me tell you.
I'm sorry I don't like Panic at the Disco.
It's fine. The only reason I know who he is because of my sister, who's way younger than me. It's totally fine.
Who's the guy from My Chemical Romance?
Oh, maybe that's who. Oh, fuck. Oh, no. If I get my... Oh, she's going to beat my ass now. Oh, no.
No, you can't show her this.
Oh, no, I can't show her this in case I got it wrong. Hold on. Fact check. It's 2021. There's this thing called fact checking. We can't just talk out of our asses
the guy from
anymore.
My Chemical Romance is... Fuck, what is his name? He sounds like Frank Sinatra, which is why I can't handle his voice.
Gerard Way is an American singer, songwriter, and comic book writer. He did Umbrella Academy. I know. Oh, okay. Fuck. What was the band I said he was?
Panic at the Disco.
Fuck!
And the band that I said he was in was My Chemical Romance, which is definitely the band he was in.
Fuck! It is the band he was in, My Chemical Romance. Fuck! Yeah. I had the right song in my head, and I said the wrong band name. Damn it! I can't show this to Emma.
Thank God.
Damn it!
I don't need Emma to berate me about
I need Emma to educate you on her music, because let me tell you,
old ass emo music.
Well, no, but she'll go all the way. She'll go like back before that time and then bring you to today. Dude, emo music's still pretty good.
I listen to emo music. I listen to Boys of Fall. I just like good emo music.
Ooh, you're gonna start some fights, man. Let me tell you. With that kind of wording, when she sees this, she's gonna be real angry. Show it to Emma. Steg likes stirring the pot too, Isaac.
I'm aware. Anyway, the way Kierkegaard relates to what we were talking about earlier is through God's relationship to healing our pain, which is not something that Kierkegaard would have been. I mean, Kierkegaard would have been like. Kierkegaard believes in miracles, but he's also like pain and angst and anxiety.
He's the reason it came in the first place, probably to like teach you to calm down and like not have so many emotions.
Well, no, Kierkegaard's whole thing is like he's an existentialist, so he's all about what makes us particularly human or what gives us our identity. And
but that's the thing. Like pain. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So God is, in theory, technically like giving it to you because that is what existence is for him.
Well, if Kierkegaard believed in an all-powerful deity, which he did not.
He did not, which is my point. So, like, it doesn't work for him. In the context of which we were talking earlier. Like, it doesn't work.
Nope.
Oof. What about you, Isaac? Before I went on my Gerard Way kick and you brought us back to Jesse's Kierkegaard, you asked me about how I was doing. How are you doing?
How am I doing? I'm a little sick of talking about myself.
Say more about that.
I would rather talk about ideas. That's why so much of my... Fuck you. That's why so many of my little like things in my story were like, and then I read this particular philosopher, David Hume. Let's talk about somebody else's.
I don't know. I the only reason why I want to talk about my thoughts is because philosophy is such an old man's game. Like, it's unfair how much of an old man's game it is.
Yeah.
Like, there has to be less voices in order to get some new ones because we can only have, like, 10 max.
Jesse, there probably isn't a specific thing from Kierkegaard that you could use that would make any sense to anybody in that group.
Yeah.
Kierkegaard writes philosophy in the form of poetry, so if you're going to understand him, you have to kind of put in the effort.
Yeah, you kind of have to read him for a bit.
I wouldn't use Kierkegaard.
I mean,
if you want to talk about why God doesn't answer prayers, you can use Hume and that article I sent you.
Yikes, when you put it that way, it sounds kind of harsh, dude. I mean, if you want to understand why exactly God hates you, I linked an article with a study that really describes it really well. Just give me anything. I just need a starting point. Oh fuck. Let me look up the one I read in college that I thought was really fucking good. Oh no, when you search for Kierkegaard, a picture of Trump shows up.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, it's very upsetting. I mean, there's a lot of pictures of Kierkegaard, and then just in the middle there's just a Trump.
Do you search images?
No. I just like on the
there's
front.
no Trump in the images.
When you just search for the word Kierkegaard, comes up right away.
There's a picture of Mike Tyson.
Nice.
Who apparently loves Kierkegaard in this article. Oh, there it is. I found it. I found the picture of Trump.
Yeah, right? It's weird. No,
It's
Trump.
from an article. It's from an article titled "How Kierkegaard Can Help Us Cope with Trump-Related Anxiety."
Oh, interesting. Just letting it go.
I'm surprised that anybody read this.
And yet here you are. Reading
It's
it
on
right
Slate
now.
Magazine. Slate Magazine isn't like a small deal.
Okay, then why would you expect people not to read it?
Well, because it's about Kierkegaard.
I'm sure they grabbed an interesting name that they knew it would work, and they were like, I can make this work. Oh, people will read this because it's interesting.
Anything to put the name Kierkegaard in people's minds.
Look, anything to get Kierkegaard back in the limelight that he deserves to be in.
I know Tillich stole it from him.
Garbage, can I tell you?
I don't care for
garbage.
I think Tillich is wicked overrated, and he's kind of stupid.
He's fine.
He's fine. I mean, he's better than like fundamentalist theologians, but
I feel like that is exactly what Biden is like for us.
yeah, he's like the Tillich of our time.
Yeah, he's fine.
Like,
he's good.
yeah,
I don't know.
sure.
If that's a good jumping off point for you, but don't just read that. Read more things, please, for the love of God.
It's like, oh yeah, he's better than Bart, but you know, he's
Man,
no
that was a
Bonhoeffer.
niche. That was a niche pull, man.
That's what I'm good for.
You're atrocious. What are you looking up right now?
Me? Nothing.
Oh, should we end the stream? Are you out of things to say?
If chat is out of things to say.
Last call, everyone. We're getting this from the producer. I think this means what do you think this means? I don't understand what this means.
Means finger your butthole.
He's been doing it for like 2 hours, dude. I don't know what he's talking about. What does this mean? Robert. What does this mean?
It means finger your butthole.
No, now he's just flipping me off. I don't understand.
I'm too tired for this right now. Give me a Kierkegaard polls. I don't have a Kierkegaard essay.
Go to your fucking library. Don't do that, actually. Make an appointment for your library so
I don't
that
have anything
you can socially
off
distance.
the top of my head that would support your position, Jesse.
Jesse, what is your position, by the way?
Hume is widely accepted as a Christian theologian. It's just because nobody reads him. So you can use Hume, which is what I gave you.
Hume goes down real smooth. You know what's a
he
real shame?
No, he doesn't.
Oh, he does though. Do you know my library's open now? Well, fuck you. Thanks, Jesse. You know what's a real shame? I can remember philosophical ideas. I cannot remember for the life of me who said them. Like when you said David Hume, I was like, I know I read him. And then you started talking, I was like, yep, I remember that concept. Like, absolutely, I knew the two things separately. They were not combined in my head as David Hume said. You know what I mean?
You know what you mean.
Do you have that issue, or is that a primarily me thing?
I have that issue very rarely nowadays.
You're still
trick
pretty in
is?
it, though.
What? You know what the trick is? Is just don't talk about stuff if you don't know who exactly said it.
Dude, that's my memory. My memory's terrible. My wife thinks I have ADD because of how bad my memory is. Because I will literally, like, I could not tell you what I've eaten
we have material.
today.
We have something to talk about now.
Oh, thank God. God's not all-powerful because I could not bring myself to worship something that is all-powerful and lets my friends die horrible deaths.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at with, like, you don't get to choose to believe this, because to choose to believe this, you have to acknowledge all of the terrible things that it implies.
No, Ooh, do you want to get heretical?
Have we not been?
Do you want to get extra heretical before we end the stream?
I just said miracles aren't real. What do you want from me?
Do you want to get extra heretical before we end the stream?
Yeah, let's go for it.
You know the
How
clock.
much worse can we get?
You know the clockmaker theory?
Yeah, sure.
I've adapted that.
You've adapted that
for modern time. I've talked about it this way, and I think it justifies some things. It creates other problems, and I
hate
know
the
that
clockmaker stuff. Just so you know,
you hate what?
I hate clockmaker theology.
Great,
Just
you're gonna
aware.
really hate this. I think of it like programming computer stuff.
Ooh, that's very different, though.
I know. I think of it as like programming computer stuff. There are some things that like make it run. There are some things that run really well. You can run other things, and it doesn't run so well. So sometimes you have to go in and you have to just budge the code a certain way. Sometimes you just have to make small corrections.
So we really don't have free will.
But that's not what I'm saying. So think of it like an AI or machine learning, right? You let it go, but sometimes you have to make small corrections, right? You have to kind of guide it in a certain way. And eventually...
in ways that violate its free will.
Oh,
I wrote a whole bunch of essays on whether or not we're living in a computer simulation.
Interesting.
And these are the problems that come up with it.
Oh, totally. But that's the thing, right? So then, but that's how I explain like the idea of miracles. But the thing is, the computer doesn't necessarily know when something is getting altered in that scenario, right?
Sure. Can I give you a different example?
Sure.
Of how to think about this? Because this is where I kind of landed on the issue.
We totally are, though. No, we're not.
Okay, so let's say you're playing Minecraft.
Love it. Look at me, I'm Steve.
Who is all powerful, or not even all powerful, the most powerful being in the world?
Ooh. What version are we talking?
Any version, doesn't matter.
Okay, me, because I'm in God mode. Go on.
Right, but you're literally in God mode. Who decides where blocks go? Who decides what happens? Who controls the fate of the universe and what gets made and what doesn't get made?
Yeah, it's me, huh?
So you're God. Now let's say you are continuing to play Minecraft and you decide, I'm going to put this world online and make it public. And one other person starts playing Minecraft in your server.
Of course.
Are you all powerful anymore?
Do I still have host privileges, or...
The analogy only goes so far.
Yeah, same, dog. I mean, yeah, that's the problem with analogies. That's why I'm an agnostic. There's always an answer. There's always an answer.
In terms of, forget
sure, yes, going along with your example, though, yes.
I'm going to change the analogy. Okay. Fuck you, I'm changing the analogy.
That's what you're doing to my analogy? You can't do that. That's not fair. I let you get through it, and then I poked it.
I'm expanding on your analogy. I'm expanding on yours.
Look, that means we're strengthening our position. Give it to me better.
Okay. You are playing Minecraft.
Okay.
Again. On the Xbox 360 when it first got ported to Xbox.
Oh no.
And
thank you for specifying which version. Thank you.
Your friend comes. It's important. Your friend comes over, and so you plug in another controller, and you play in split screen mode.
Oh, okay.
Does he have as much will and ability to change the world as you do?
Oh, I'd say yes.
So, who's not all powerful anymore.
Oh, it's me.
Could it not be the same way with God, who creates independent beings with free will?
Ooh, big brain time. I love that. That's a good example.
And the reason it has to be on the Xbox 360 is because you don't have fucking host privileges.
Yep. Good job. You found a way. Dude, see, we strengthened our position together. Only through fire can we become stronger.
Now, let's say your friend goes home and you erase and you reset the world back, but you don't reset the save. You, like, literally put everything back.
Ooh.
Does that mean that your friend's power over the world is revoked? Or will his influence on the world live on forever, even though you can't see it anymore? In the actual code of the game is what I'm speaking of, not just like...
No, I see...
In the actual save file of the game is the moment at which... And that's how history works.
That is how history works. That is so interesting. And I think that works with our analogy a little bit.
And that's why we are living in a simulation.
Okay, dude, calm down. Oh, I had a trippy thought today. You know the Rick and Morty episode where spoilers for I think season 3 maybe season 2 Rick and Morty, the Keep Summer Safe episode. I had the existential thought of what if we are inside some kind of like
battery?
Yeah, some kind of small container, and just by existing, we are in some way creating something for someone else. Unknowingly.
I mean, that's what Christianity would teach you. You exist to bring glory to God. You exist so that God is glorified.
Ooh, interesting.
That's your ultimate fate in heaven, is you're constantly praising and worshiping God.
Does that mean God is a pickle? Funniest shit I've ever seen. I shit you not.
Fuck you.
It's my favorite meme and I don't know why.
It's a terrible meme.
It's my favorite meme. Oh, I love it because it so accurately depicts the love everyone had for Pickle Rick immediately. No, but I think you're right. I think that's...
It's a shitty meaning for life.
Yeah, that sucks, huh? It's almost like Colbert's response was totally justified in that episode.
I don't remember that episode enough.
Oh, no. It's the one where... Colbert's an alien who did the exact same thing Rick did, and Rick's pissed about it because now they're not producing enough energy for him. They're only producing enough for them.
You calling him Colbert fucked me up because I forgot it was Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, dude. How could you forget? Best Rick and Morty episode. Besides the pickle one. Have you seen that shit? Funny shit I've ever seen.
Fuck you. That's not a funny episode.
No, it's not. It's a really weird one with therapy in it. Are we done? Is the post show done?
I mean, is the post show ever done?
God, my life is the post show. Hey, are we playing Halo tomorrow?
Yeah.
Great. I have a third. Matt, Kiki's boyfriend wants to play.
Is Jacob out then?
I mean, not necessarily.
Jesse, are you in?
Jesse, are you in? If you're not in, Jesse, I can offer the position to Jacob. If Jacob's not in, I can offer it to Peyton. Anyway, I'll take my answer offline, Jesse. Because I think we need to end it. We're just sitting here now. We're not podcasting. We're tired. I can feel it.
I'm tired, yes. And I have work to do.
Oh, I can feel it. I can feel your tired energies coming off the microphone and into my brain. This is like the burn earlier I made when referring to Michael Jones, and I was like, well, at least he doesn't have a brick wall to talk to. I was talking about you, Isaac, not the audience. Because I'm trying so hard. All I want to do is like make you laugh, and like sometimes I get it, and sometimes I don't.
Not right now.
Oh, now I'm gonna go argue about an all-powerful God with Nazarene zealots. Do it.
believing in an all-powerful God has nothing to do with being Nazarene. It's just something that we imported from other traditions.
Look, it was an easy import. The files were compatible.
It's a stupid import, though.
It's a bad import.
That's why I'm going to go start my own church with blackjack and hookers.
Oh, yeah, we should mention that. We're starting our own church with blackjack and hookers. Come every Friday night, because let's be honest, you don't want to get up on a Sunday morning. We know what's up.
Your wife is going to hate you. This is not worth it for you, Jesse.
Do it. Anyway, have a good night, stream. We love you. Thanks for hanging out.